Hey guys, welcome to episode 235 of 4Player Animecast. It is finally December, although it doesn't really feel like it over here. 10 p.m. or I guess 10:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on the East Coast of the United States. We are down to the second to last episode for our fall 2023 reviews. We're gonna have one more episode after this, and we got a lot of heavy hitters both this episode and the next episode as well before we head into our winter preview show as well as our end of the year awards show. So, a lot of stuff jam packed here in the last month, as per usual. I am your host, Spire, and with me are my compatriots, Near,
Hello.
Toast,
Here, would you buy this? The thing I just linked? I wouldn't. It looks like crap.
uh,
What?
no,
Ew.
and Dark.
No.
Dude, Kamaravi gotta have sweep. It's
Oh, yeah,
happening. It's
yeah.
happening.
I think you mean Protocol Rain, sir.
Protocol,
Hold on,
yeah,
got-
Protocol
What is
Rain. It's
this?
crazy, dude. Award show, spoiler alert, gonna be a cross between God App and Protocol Rain. Like, really
You're
just.
saying
Oh my
it.
God.
You're saying it got better.
I feel
Sweet.
like half the stuff that we call out in the end of the year awards is going to be based around just this season, especially for Nier, I think. But yeah, anyways, let's go down to our 2 weeks really briefly. I know you've had a little bit of a mishap. I know you were ailing last week, Toast. We had to delay the show about a week because again, Toast was unfortunately down, was not in the best condition, but
I lost
We
my
didn't have
voice
a
for
blast,
a
dude.
week. That was weird.
yeah. How were you these past couple of weeks? Besides obviously your illness.
What? I lost my voice. That was pretty sick.
That was
Like,
very unfortunate.
what was it? The day before? That was really cool. Oh no, not that. It was getting worse, and then I lost my voice on Sunday. That was sick. Yeah.
Again, good. Thankfully, Toast is back now and informed.
Says. Who told you that? Yeah. What? Uh. I don't know. I had something to say, but I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, hot take. It's hot take time.
What? What?
Gurren Lagann is the best show that Gainax / Trigger has ever produced. Except
Wait,
maybe
are,
I mean,
are you
it's
saying are you
Buster.
false,
saying
but.
including all of their shows or ever since Gurren Lagann?
Ever since Gurren Lagann.
Okay, because if it's all shows
'Cause,
that includes
Well,
Evangelion.
Gurren Lagann was
Gunbuster
like
and
the
Diebuster
last
are
thing
pretty good.
Gainax ever made, dude.
Exactly. Exactly, Near. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it Gurren Lagann is like actually the last show that like the old Gainax team, like the famous Gainax team made,
Yeah.
if I remember
And
Yeah,
correctly.
like
then
after
they
after Gurren, it was fucking over for
Yeah,
Gainax.
because
Yeah.
they split into the Trigger, and some people went to the A1 and stuff like that. If I remember.
Oh,
Some people
see,
made
so I'm right.
tomatoes and shit. Like,
Yeah, airport
pretty
tomatoes.
cool.
Yeah, so I'm right, Near. Even better than was it? Yeah.
I like
What
how
is it?
he's just like,
Little Witch?
sure,
Little
the
Witch?
old Gainax team wasn't there. Gurren
I mean, I
Lagann
would,
was the
I would
best
say
Little
one.
Witch, not
wrong,
that
but
good.
okay.
The
They did
the
make
scissors
Penny
one.
Stocky regard about too.
Oh, it's not that.
Yeah,
Penny
dude, they
Stacking was
made
okay.
Ninja
It's not all
Slayer,
that great.
dude. Okay, so
Inferno Cop is much better than Ninja Slayer. Why can't I remember the one with the scissors? Kill is okay. Not that.
Wait,
eh.
are you saying the Gurren Lagann stuff includes the Trigger stuff as well?
yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
Oh,
So he's
okay,
wrong.
wait.
So he's just like he's flat out wrong.
What else did
Yeah, I
you
don't think
forget?
that's right. I think that's probably
He
not
is
correct.
incorrect. That's why he called it a hot
Ki-
take.
Yeah.
So you're saying Kisniver's better? I don't know, man. For any
That is
for
not
any
what I
anime,
said.
not as good.
No. I mean, I guess it depends, right? Like, the second part of Gurren is so fucking bad. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna say no to that. I don't believe you.
Jesus.
Listen,
The
Okay,
way
man,
the
so-
robot
look,
kept getting
you're
bigger, pretty cool.
You're gonna eat your words when fucking Gurren Lagann season 2 comes out after fucking Panty and Stocking 2.
After what, 20 years?
Oh my god.
Don't worry. I'll just say I only like the original plus the movie, second movie. Also,
We're gonna
what
get
is
Promare 2 before we get Gurren Lagann sequel. Honestly, it's gonna
Grid-
be.
Grid-
No,
Grid- Gridman-
now that they're milking Penny and Stocking, then we're gonna get Gurren season 2. We're gonna get
Gridman,
fucking Kill la Kill season
Gridman
2.
is
Uh,
alright. Gridman's
the
alright.
thing is, the worst part of this is, especially after the debacle that was FLCL, like hearing like, oh, we're gonna get Panasonic season 2, we might get all the other like season 2. It's just like, no, stop it,
Dude, you
stop
didn't need
it.
a lot. I didn't need to see Fooly Cooley get milked in order to be like, don't do that. But
I know,
hey.
but what I'm saying is like, you can see how like before you could at least be like, hey, maybe miracles can happen, like because we don't know, we just don't know, right? Like there could be a 1% chance, but like after seeing the sequels, it's just like, can we stop? It's just no, like we know you
Listen, man,
can't
I've just
do
been
it. There's
watching
precedent.
Trigger's recent shit, so
Oh my god.
I know.
that's
I mean,
where
and what?
it's
Remember?
over for
Remember,
me.
we had some strong thoughts about Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
True.
What
I mean,
else?
I would say I would agree that Gurren is better than that. Is way better than that.
What is Promare but Gurren Lagann again, but not.
Again,
Okay.
funny you should say that. That's like most Trigger series.
Anyways, how have
Gunbuster
your
and
2 weeks been?
Diebuster are the only ones that could possibly compete, and
Well,
maybe
Those were before.
Abunabashi.
Those were before Gurren.
Yeah, Abunabashi is also up there for some reason.
Anyways, how have your 2 weeks been, Toast?
I don't know.
Other than that.
I mean, I brought that up because Aniplex is going to they're going to release the Gurren Lagann movies in theaters next month. Well, yeah, next month now.
Yeah, again to gear us up for the season 2 announcement. Obviously.
Wasn't there another collaboration that Aniplex was doing? Give me, yeah.
What do you mean?
No. Okay, never mind. That's not it. That was something else. Sorry. All right, keep
Are
going.
you talking? What? No. What else? I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess thank you,
The
Toast.
first snow was a couple of days ago. That was cool. Did you get that? get
I
some?
unfortunately
got a
got like
light
a
dusting.
very tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Enough. Anyways, thank you, Toast. What about you, Nier? 2 weeks, please.
Not
Here,
much.
how are your polar bears?
Um,
I heard there's some polar bear sightings.
where?
And some in of Churchill.
Okay. I don't live in Churchill, so not my problem.
You've never seen any polar bears?
No, I can't say I have.
What about in the zoo? Do you have zoos in Canada? Isn't it too cold?
We do have zoos. We believe it or not, we are allowed to have zoos.
What do you
Animals
think
are surprisingly adaptive, believe it or not. Especially when they're in captivity.
Remember that cold snap we had? What was it? When was that cold snap? 2019? Was it 2019?
Where?
The polar vortex? Or was it just me?
I
think it was
have
just
no idea what you're talking about.
2019?
Yeah, there was a polar vortex, wasn't it? I've always wondered what happened to all those animals.
2020 New York got a really bad snow. 2020 was
Yeah. I go the cold snap in January, February of 2019, the North American cold wave. I always wonder what happened to all the animals there.
I
Are
don't
they
even
dead?
remember.
They were probably cold. But
What do you mean by that?
You know what? I'm glad we all survived.
Uh-huh.
Even you, Near.
But yeah, my 2 weeks have been pretty chill. Just playing Mahjong. Keeping up with mobile game shit. I did buy
would you rather play Mahjong or Pocket Circuit?
probably Mahjong.
What?
Yeah.
How dare you?
But I did buy the RoboCop game.
What?
And that game kind of fucking rocks.
How do you feel about
know.
Nuke?
How are the guns? Are they 19? Is it 80s, 70s?
I think it's eight.
Is
I
it?
think it was 80s that RoboCop was in. But yeah, the guns feel good. It feels good to shoot people. When you shoot people in the head, there's like a loud squelching noise as their head explodes. And it's like
You get,
louder than any sound effect in the game. And
do you get to play as Murphy pre-RoboCop when he
no,
gets
no,
shotgun blasted? No.
it takes place after
Oh, that's lame.
RoboCop 2.
What?
Um,
That's weird.
yeah. But yeah, you can like pick up explosive barrels and throw them at junkies, and then they turn into like a red mist. It's pretty badass. It's a pretty good game.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm gonna have fun
Okay,
with that.
let's ask who hasn't seen RoboCop.
Everybody.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I feel like that's
everyone's-
required. Like, if you haven't seen RoboCop, it's like fucked up, honestly.
yeah, I think pretty much everybody's seen RoboCop
Yeah.
at this point.
How about Bloodsport? Has everyone seen Bloodsport?
I've not seen Bloodsport.
What?
That's with Vin
Here's-
Diesel, right? Is
That's
that what you're talking about?
that's-
Oh, no, I'm
that's
thinking of
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Bloodshot.
No. Yeah.
I'm talking
Bloodsport is the-
Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's like
Yeah,
the
Van
I've
Damme.
seen
quintessential
it.
Van Damme movie
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay. No,
That's
I've
like
seen
the Van
Bloodsport.
Damme
with
movie.
with
for-
with Bolo Young in it as a
Yes.
Chong Li. Hell yeah!
Yes.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Hot
Anyways,
take, it's his best movie, and it hasn't been beat.
would you say it's a girl Lagon of Jean-Claude Van
Hell
Damme?
yeah, I will
Jean-Claude
say
Van
that.
Damme.
I will say
True.
that.
Anyways,
Like,
anything else?
what else is gonna compare to Street Fighter? The Street Fighter movie was funny, but I don't think it was good.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah,
Hey, you
that's
think-
pretty much it for me.
Okay. What about you, Dark?
Near you didn't talk
That's
about
not
Shadowverse. I heard there was a new
true, because
expansion.
it's been 3
Bro.
weeks, and
I
we
I haven't
also did
touched
Lethal
fucking Shadowverse in a
Company.
while.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Lethal Company. I heard that game's pretty good.
Lethal Company. Lethal Company is probably one of the best games released this year. It's a
Damn, it's
fucking
also
$10
2023
game.
is 2023 is spicy.
Yeah, 2023 had some good games, and Lethal Company is definitely one of them.
The bet is 2023 the best year in video games since 1998.
I
1998?
mean, 2023 is 2023 is definitely one of better years. Yeah.
Is 2023 the 2011 of video games?
I would have to go back and I feel like 2011. I don't know why. I feel like that was a really shitty year for video games.
I'm talking about anime.
Oh. Yeah, I guess kind of.
It's 2007.
But yeah,
Mm.
so yeah, I played some of that. That game's good. Played a lot and been playing and still playing a lot of World of Warcraft, the best game ever released. The
Even
most
better than
important
Diablo
thing,
4?
the race to world first happened. And I didn't watch it because that shit sucks. It's definitely better than D4. But D4 is also pretty fun.
Wasn't there
And
some
I can't endlessly grind that shit.
wasn't there
Otherwise you
some
get
drama
bored.
between like Asmongold and Soda Poppin' or something when they're trying to grind for something? I don't know.
I don't know. They probably like stole each other's shit in like fucking the like WoW classic thing that came.
All right. I don't know. anything about that.
That's also been pretty cool too. There's like a remixed classic mode that came out. And that's been fun. But yeah, been raiding, been clearing it, been clearing the raid. And then other than that, kind of just been keeping up with shows. Burned through
Oh,
a lot of Freerun. Because I wasn't like quite caught up with that yet. I was like,
Who was the one
5
that
or
said
6
free run would
episodes
suck?
behind.
Which one of it? Which one was you? It wasn't me.
What?
Which
Nobody.
I don't
one
think
of you said
anyone said
free one
Freerun
sucked?
was
I
gonna
don't think
suck.
anybody has.
I think
Freerun is-
I think all of us said Freerun was probably gonna be one of the only like.
Oh,
I
what?
think the
series this
closest
season.
we said was that if Freerun did end up sucking, there
If
would be hate
Freerun
mail.
sucks, yeah, it would be like fucking
Well, I'll say
Like
it.
they would be sending hate mail to the studios.
like the
That's
end of
like
the
how bad.
world.
Yeah.
I've been saying Freerun's fucking OP sucks since I saw it.
Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah.
That's what
yeah,
I've been
you
saying.
said it didn't fit. Yeah,
This guy
exactly.
hates
No,
Leo
it
Asobi.
not only does it not fit, it also fucking sucks. Like I think it's fucking bad.
Mhm.
Like
This guy
I think that
hates Leo
OP is
Asobi.
genuinely not good.
Let's see how many views it has now, Dark.
Yeah,
Value of quality.
Let's
yeah,
see.
yeah. The fucking Yasubi
Oh,
song. How many views
the-
does it have? That's crazy.
38 million. He
Yasubi
kinda have-
song having a lot of views? No way. They should have
'Cause,
just
it's like-
played the ED. There's my. You know what? I'll give a hot take for this week. They should have just had the ED in the beginning for the OP, and then also the ED, and called it a day. They should have just done
compared to Idol, which has 379 million views. Yeah, I guess the free
I
run
mean,
opening
it's
does
just like.
suck.
I mean, it's bad. It like it is. Like I don't know what to tell. Like visually, fucking stupid. Nothing going on. Has like nothing to do with anything. Yeah. Fuck that opening. And yeah, burning through like 6 episodes of that was like kind of a fucking nightmare. Needing to skip that every time.
How's not Genshin, the other one, Honkai Star Rail? I heard there was a cool
Honkai
centaur.
Star Rail's
Tell me
pretty
about that
cool.
centaur.
That's not a Star Rail character, is it?
I don't know.
No.
I don't play it.
I don't even know what that is. I
don't
think
know- I
that's
don't
an
know what that's
AI.
from.
I think that's like AI, honestly. Because like I don't know what that's from. And like it's not PGR, it's not Honkai Star Rail, it's not Genshin. It's not like Tower of Fantasy. I don't know like what the fuck
Not
that
part of the
character's from.
MiHoYo verse.
No, it's not a MiHoYo game. At least I don't think it is. No, it's not, because that aesthetically doesn't even fit. Fucking that's not from we call it Zenless Zone Zero or HI3. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Who's your
I don't know-
favorite?
I don't know what
Who's
the
your
fuck that
favorite
character is.
centaur in fiction?
Favorite centaur? Dude, my favorite centaur in fiction obviously is Cenarius from World of Warcraft. Duh.
God
He's
damn
really
it.
cool
I-
and hasn't done anything in the 2 decades I've been playing this fucking game.
Anyways,
But
anything
yeah,
else?
that was kind of my 2 weeks. I just kind of kept up with a lot of stuff and then
Mhm.
got mad at the free run OP because
All right, pretty
what
good.
the fuck,
Uh,
dude.
For me,
You know what? We haven't brought it up yet. How was your Thanksgiving, guys?
pretty
I got really
well.
drunk.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, my family is mainly coming over for Christmas. So for Thanksgiving, I was alone and just did like some slow cooked oven brisket kind of thing, but nothing
Yeah,
big.
how was your Thanksgiving?
I'm Canadian.
Yeah, how was it? How was
Wow.
it? It's the
Way to
second.
not
I
get into
googled
the
it.
festivities, bucko.
Yeah, exactly.
Second Monday in October. Near how was it 3 months ago?
I don't think we did anything.
Why is yours in freaking October before Halloween?
Probably because we're a different country.
Why do you eat the same foods?
Pretty much, yeah.
What?
How come you eat the same foods if you're a different country, Near? Answer
Yeah,
that.
very
That's one of
true.
life's great mysteries, really.
Why aren't you eating a Canadian goose on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what's Jig's
I don't think
dinner?
you're allowed to eat those, man.
What's Jig's dinner and Nanaimo bars? Apparently that's Canadian.
The Nanaimo bars, they're pretty good.
Okay.
I don't know what.
You
what
eat
is-
a
what is
big
it?
Toblerone on Thanksgiving?
No, that's for Christmas, dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Anyways.
I've been looking for like the white Toblerones forever. I can't find them. I only get the regular ones. I like the white ones.
Yeah, I think those are relatively a little bit harder to find. But anyways, I haven't been up to too much. Mostly running around doing real life stuff. Playing more Street Fighter 6, watching a lot of VTubers. A lot of fucking VTubers.
Name some VTubers.
Yeah, name
Tell
some of the VTubers you're watching.
Who did you
Look.
vote for in the VTuber Awards hosted by Fillion?
I did not vote for any of those motherfuckers. But the interesting thing is, so it's like there are a lot of so you know how with VTubers, since the Japanese culture is so strong with the VTuber culture, or like at least there's like a very large overlap. So a lot of non-Japanese VTubers have Japanese names as well, right? And so obviously a lot of Korean VTubers have these like Japanese names, like blah blah blah, like Shirayuki, whatever, blah, stuff like that, right? And so then some of those VTubers, like that in itself is already kind of weird. But then those VTubers clips and like stuff started getting imported back recently to the Japanese side. So there are like Japanese streamers who are watching Korean VTubers who have a Japanese name. So I'm like, so they're like, what the fuck? Why are these guys like names all like this? And I'm just sitting there wondering, like, what is this like an infinite loop? Like, what is going on right now? Because I like at the point where Japanese streamers wonder why a Korean VTuber has Japanese names and like is doing this. It's like it's like one of those Asmongold like restream, like Asmongold reacts to someone reacting to Asmongold kind of shit. And it's very weird for me. It's a very meta moment. Big Ring's like, it better be. Unfortunately, it is
Near
not. But yeah.
who has the most subs in Korean VTubers?
Did you
Why are
ask
you
the
asking
mirror
gear?
that? Yeah.
Yeah,
You
near.
know what? You
Yeah,
mean me,
near.
right? Yeah, okay. If I
She's
remember
fire.
correctly, there are like a couple of there are a couple of like Korean VTubers that have like I think over 1 million subs or something like that, one or two. And like there's like they're quite big, but it's just like they're I mean, it's kind of whatever, honestly. For me, uh like with VTubers, I've never ever really considered them to be like the
Human.
weird. Yeah, I've never considered them to be worth my respect, but
People.
on the real, yeah, exactly. They are animals, but I've when people are like, "Oh, I've never understood VTubers," like they're just like weird anime weeb avatars and like old men like stream or like I've never really gotten people who are instinctively like that because it's just like they're literally just the same streamers, but then they have an anime avatar, right? It's like the exact same like game streamers or like the cam girls or whoever, except instead of having the cam on or whatever, right? Or doing their weird fucking streams, they're doing their weird fucking streams, but they have an avatar. And it's just like, okay. So
Yeah, well, the
I
good
kind of just
ones play a character, Spire, so...
Oh, I apologize. I forgot that they were
Not just an
1,000-year-old
avatar.
vampires.
Not just an avatar, Sweaty.
They are also vampires. I apologize, but I've never really understood like the kind of hesitance around that or whatever. But I just treat them as regular streamers, so it is what it is. But that was
Are there any whatever happened to Niji Sanji's Korean influence?
I'm
I
pretty sure
don't
that
think.
crashed and burned horribly.
Yeah, I
Have they
don't think Niji
recovered yet?
Sanji Korea really had an influence. I'm sure, obviously, Hololive had a huge influence because it's like all of the other,
Don't you
literally
know?
all of the big agencies or not even agencies, but like groups, right, in Korea, for VTubers are all centered around the Hololive model. So,
Don't you know, Near? There was the Hololive Cafe in was it Seoul? And Yago was there. I wonder
Wow.
what
yes.
he's cooking.
And all of the other like Korean VTubers are kind of collaborating and stuff like that too. But, anyways, that was pretty much my 2 weeks. Not too much going on, so. I do want to move on from here. Thank you everybody for sharing your 2 weeks. And who should we start with? Let's start with Toast.
Hello, it is
What do
I.
you have for us?
I have Keikenzumi Nakimito Keikenzero Naorega Otsukiai Suru Hanashi.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Also
Which,
known in English as Our Dating Story, The Experienced You and The Inexperienced Me.
you know, that's
What?
actually a pretty good translation of the title. I'm impressed.
It's a pretty straight translation, yeah. It is Engi Studio, I believe. People might not know as much about this. They are a slightly smaller studio, slightly more recent. Started in 2018 or so. They did, I believe, Uzaki-chan.
Kimono
Uzaki,
Michi, bro. What?
yes, Kimono Michi
How dare you skip
released
Kimono
Beast or
Michi?
whatever.
They also did.
Uzaki-chan wa
Are you
Asobitai.
fucking sanding wood? Like, what is that fucking noise, dude?
Hell yeah.
What else did they do? They did. Oh yeah, Otome Game Sekai wa Mobni Studio. Wa Mobu. Yeah, Otome Game Sekai wa Mobni Kimishi Sekai desu. Trapped in a dating sim, stuff like that. A couple other smaller stuff, but yeah. Anyways, this is
The
a
detective near or Spire. The detective is already dead. Is not a small
yes,
series.
yes, yes,
Did you not?
yes,
Do
yes.
you not remember the famous cameo in that series?
What was it again?
Don't you remember Shirakami Fubuki and Natsuhiro Matsuri making their VA debut?
Oh yeah, I remember. Okay,
How could you
yeah,
forget?
Yeah.
okay. But anyways, this is based off a manga original, I believe, right?
No.
Or is it a light novel?
Light novel, bro.
Okay. All right. Please do go on. Toast.
Yes. So, by how much do you like Gyarus? You,
That's a very weird question, but I mean,
you're the expert on this, right?
I don't know
Out of
whether I
all of
would say
us,
I'm an expert on
who's your
ghettos.
favorite Idol Master Cinderella Girls character?
It is Takagaki Kaede, who is not a
Liar,
ghetto.
liar.
Who is not. I think you're asking me about the original Namiko lineup, which I do like. Hoshimiki, who is like initially like a ghetto, although she also has like her regular form.
Since when did you?
Yes.
Since when did you wean yourself off of Jogasaki Mika?
I
That's
was
true. When did this
never.
betrayal
I was
happen?
never. I
Well,
think
no,
you're
now,
mistaking me for Bob Guy or
That's
somebody
not
else, because
now,
that's not.
true.
now you ruined my bit. Anyway,
Okay.
so there's this super gloomy guy, archetypal
Yes.
nerd named Ryuto Kashima, who only likes who's I guess is it a modern day nerd otaku because he likes watching live streams. Hell yeah, dude.
Whoa, that's so
Wow,
Dude,
modern.
no
that's
one.
so
That's
that's so
so
hip and
crazy.
cool.
Literally, no one in high school likes watching live streams. That's crazy. Surely he is an outcast for doing such a thing.
Oh my god.
So yeah, so he's hanging out with his bunch of friends who are also nerds. I don't remember the name. There's a fat guy and there's a skinny guy. But yeah, they're hanging out, and he's like, "Hey, you lost this punishments game. So what you have to do is you have to confess to this Gyaru girl named Shirakawa Runa, who's like the hottest chick in school, but she's also a
Yeah.
Gyaru, and a Gyaru in like I guess the true form of it nowadays.
What does that
The
mean?
way, because when
Like
they
shiro,
say what
like a shirogaru, like casual, just like hair dye kind of stuff, or like what? What are you talking about?
Gyaru as in they get around, you know. I guess
I'm not sure if that's included in the definition of a gyaru, but
it
okay.
means it's the type of girl that she'll sleep with anyone and whatnot.
Okay.
And that get it. That's the experience part.
Yeah, that's
Quote.
usually like linked with like gyaru kind of types. Yes.
I'm not gonna say the W word because that's offensive to women. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
She sleeps around and people's like, oh, she'll date you, like she'll date anyone. So that's his punishment game. And so he confesses to her, and then she's like, "Okay, because I don't have a boyfriend right now." And then they go home and they're about to do it. And he's like, "Whoa, wait, what are you doing?" And then she's like, "Oh, isn't this why you wanted to date me?" And he's like, "No, we have to start a proper relationship." That's what this series is,
Okay.
literally.
So can
It's
we back up a little bit before we get into the story?
no
How can we do the audio visuals real quick?
the audio visuals. Like we said, it's Studio Engi.
Mm-hmm.
They're all right.
They're relatively solid. Yeah.
I wanna say that the audio visuals are middling. I guess
What do you
they're
mean
all
by that?
fine. I want to say that they're a lot closer to the light novel than the manga. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It depends on your taste because for me, I kind of prefer the I kind of prefer the manga's art style because it's a lot more flowery and shoujo-esque compared to
Oh, okay.
the light novel.
Yeah, this is a little bit more of a straight like rom-com, like the standard stylings that we get from uh maybe a little bit of a lighter palette, but something that we might see of an isekai or whatever, right?
I
Or like a
want I, w-
whatever.
I want I guess I want to say though it's a of the closest series I can compare it to. It's the stark opposite of or that other Gyaru series. What is it?
Hajimete no Gyaru, I
Yeah,
think you're yeah. Yeah, it is
because
very because though in that one the lines are very like
in Hajime to Gal, it's a lot more. It's more comedic in a way.
yes,
It's a lot
yes,
more
yes.
comedic and focus. And I
Uh-huh.
don't know, the main girl Hajime to Gal, it's kind of dubious, but it's probably. But since it's that type of series, it's pretty dubious whether the main heroine is a virgin or not, and it's pretty much confirmed, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's no evidence that says she's not, but in
Yeah.
this one, it's straight out of the gate. The girl's experienced in quotes.
Yes.
So, and this one's a bit more experienced, or this one's a lot more serious. The way it portrays like how our relationship starts,
Mm-hmm.
or how the main character uh, views a relationship compared to how the female or the main female character like conveys a relationship because they have completely different mindsets when it comes to it, and
Right.
that's basically the main I guess the main focus of the series. Like, oh, Runa has like based on the relationships she had in the past, which were I guess mostly physical, like with other boys, and
Mm-hmm.
she says that the way that like when she was in a relationship, she goes at it 100%, like trying to commit to the dude she was going out with, but then over time, like the dudes only wanted a physical relationship with her, so that's why they broke up with her. So
Ah, okay,
it's
okay,
it's
okay,
not
okay,
it's
okay.
not her breaking up with them. It's them breaking up with her because she was too clingy in a way. Because they just wanted their quickie and get in and get out. But
Okay.
since she started dating this dude Ryuto, he's the first one to be like, I like, even though this is a punishment game, I kind of wanted to date you for real in like a non-physical sense off the gate. So that's
Mm-hmm.
primarily what the driving force behind this series is,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why that's the title, because she's experienced and he's not. So it's the difference between a pure love relationship versus a pure physical relationship in a way, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the basically what this series is. That's
So
why this one caught my eye when I started reading the manga. the contrast between the characters and whatnot.
So I kind of skimmed very briefly through this anime, and it's like it seems quite. I mean, yeah, there's the whole like underlying standard, not like will they, won't they, but like, oh, did you not hear? Like that girl is trouble, nothing but trouble. She's she's a slut or whatever it is, all that usual shit, right? Um, there's that, but outside of those very standard developments and dramatizations, it seems very episodic in nature, and it's kind of just seems like, hey, uh, this is something that you thought I would do because I'm a gyaru, but actually I am much more of a nice person inside, or like this is how we get to know each other. Eh, Is that sort of
Yeah,
how it just continues
yeah,
on for
pretty
like
much.
all the episodes? Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe it's because it's the opposite of Hajime to Gal. The drama that follows up is a lot more natural, and it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. So they bring that up. It's like, oh, they talk to each other about it, and it only and they reconcile and it strengthens their relationship and whatnot. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the main and like one of the main antagonists in this series has to deal with funnily enough, what's her name sister, Runa's sister, who's the exact opposite of her. Well, not exact opposite. Well, how Runa's super flashy. Her sister is she's the Yamato Nadeshiko of the school, I guess. And uh how Runa's like, she's a Gyaru, but she's honest to a fault and whatnot. But then her sister Maria is she acts nice, but she's secretly scheming all the time. And
Haragudo, I think. Did they say that?
what
Haragudo?
I don't know what that means. Elaborate.
There's like a specific term for that. It's like the transliterated term is like black stomach or black belly kind of thing, but it's like she's like the underside of her is like very kind of like sinister or like scheming, as you said.
Sure, yeah. And so, because they bring up that she's Runa's sister, she's somehow, they bring it up that she's somehow related to Yuto and why he's so gloomy and whatnot. So there's this
Mhm.
big arc with that. It's pretty interesting to watch, I guess. It ends in the way you expect, but how Ryuto deals with it is pretty cool. For it's pretty, he's a pretty stand-up guy for what he did in that situation, because
Mhm.
Maria is the one that starts to spread rumors about Runa in the school, behind everyone's back, and that's how there's this big confrontation. But yeah, that arc was probably the best. It's probably gonna be is the best in this series, and that's it.
Mhm.
Like after that, everything else is not gonna be as good. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I guess it's basically a more mature slash complicated take on relationships. Real, true, real life relationships. When you're a loser nerd version, hanging out with a real woman here. You
So
know what
like
I'm
what
saying?
I kind of don't get is what is the how do I say this? What do you think is the resolution gonna be like? Is it literally just like um I mean, I don't know whether how far the manga is along yet, but as far as I know, these series always go into like one final arc where it's just like the guy almost loses his like confidence or trust in the girl, and it's like, are we really meant to be together? And then like they kind of just resolve that and they end up going out or whatever it is, right? But for me, it kind of just seems like the rest of the series is just very slow, and it's just very plotting and episodic and kind of isolated from that part of the development, and that kind of gives it this very art or like kind of samey and artificial feeling, and I don't
I've
know
I've
whether it gets yeah.
I've heard that this series is described as pretty mid, and I can get
Okay.
that. I can get that. It's pretty standard average, but the way they talk to each other and how the way they talk to each other is the most organic thing of this series that I can recommend
Mm-hmm.
because I guess it's unique from any other series like this that I've read.
Mm-hmm.
And one of Bruna's friends, who's also a Gyaru, I think her name's Nicole. I want to say it's Nicole, but it says it's Nikoru. But I'm gonna call her Nicole. You can't stop me. She's also a pretty strong driving force in this. Like she's super forceful, but her heart's in the right place, and her interactions with with Ryuto are also pretty good. So yeah, I like her a lot. She's probably my favorite character. But yeah, I mean it's pretty mid. It's pretty mid if you're a loser vert. If you don't like experienced girls, I guess I don't know. Whatever.
Have
I
there
still
been
like the
any?
series.
Can I ask if there have been any like negative reviews or whatever it is because of that whole like, oh, she's not a virgin or whatever? Yeah, exactly.
I guess. Let me look on my anime list.
I mean, my
Val,
Maybe
biggest thing
always
right
the
what
now
source of the
from what
best
you were
reviews.
saying was like the MC being like, hold on, we can't do something different with this series. we have to start from scratch, babe.
Oh my
Like, all
god.
oh
right, I
the
guess.
the score is pretty good, 6.71. That's pretty
Yeah, that's
high,
pretty good.
right? Yes? I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't believe
eh,
in mall scores.
It's pretty average from.
yeah.
That's good. But yeah, what else? What else am I talking about? I haven't talked about the voice cast. There's Onishisari. I don't know who she is. That's Runa. Onishisari, also known for she's McQueen in Uma Musume. Yeah, I remember that. I love Uma Musume. She's also
Yeah,
Megumi in
Onishisari is pretty big. I think most of these are pretty standard, pretty big like
Koga
A-listers
Aoi.
for the
Never
most
heard
part.
of her.
Yeah, yeah, Koga Aoi, Hanae Natsuki, Fukara Ayaka is also, a veteran as well. Kusunoki Tomori, I don't think I need to talk about, her. Um
I don't know who's she.
and Mina
Who's
Tomaki.
she?
What?
Oh, she's Gun Gale. Hell yeah.
Yeah. She's also Makima in Chainsaw Man.
I don't watch Chainsaw Man. Who do you think I am? Near?
I apologize.
Yeah, who
But
would
yeah,
ever watch
pretty,
Chainsaw Man? What the fuck?
yeah,
Oh,
shitty series
Near.
like
Fire. I think
Chainsaw
you're talking
Man.
about Wonder Egg Priority. I've heard of
Yeah,
Wonder Egg Priority.
yeah. But yeah,
Yeah, a
pretty
Yeah.
real
good.
series.
I'm giving this one for my final rating. I'm giving it 1 point above Hajime Togal because this is serious relationship building, not haha funny, whatnot. Because they're getting it. Is that why it's called KimiZero? Because they're starting from zero. I don't know. Why is it called KimiZero?
I think it's literally in the title, Toast. But okay.
But yeah, why is it called KimiZero? What is the zero part? Because they're starting from
The
zero.
zero experience part of the title.
Oh, really? I thought it was because
Yeah, the Keiken Zero no Orega. It's literally in the title. It's only from the title.
Whoa!
I thought
Kimi
because
is
it's kind of like the Metal Gear analysis
no.
of
There's nothing
zero.
symbolic about the title. It's literally just the
Because
abbreviated
no,
title.
sorry. Let me cook. Let me cook here. So how many
I was
relationships has
staring
like
at plain text with the thinking face. What does it mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Spire, if you add them together, the girl has at least one relationship, right? and the guy has -1 because he
Oh my god.
because he confessed to a girl and got dejected. That's -1. So if you add them up,
I
it
think that's how
becomes
that works,
0.
but
I
alright.
don't think that's how that works, but okay.
The math checks out.
I don't think it
Also,
does.
how big?
And you-
Also MGS, how everything returns to 0 and not 1. Get it? Yes.
okay.
Yeah. I bring that up because
Anyways,
yeah.
any last words?
People say it's mid. I like it. How dare
Okay.
you? It's really hit or miss. I guess it's
Okay.
slow. It's slow, but I like the way the relationship, the way they talk to each other about the relationship.
Ah,
And yeah, that's fine. I
very good.
like organic resolution of relationships nowadays. I've matured in that sense.
Okay.
I like near you know what near I like my cool flashy robots doing cool things rather than the what is it the destruction of mankind and the rebirth of God or whatever that series was about.
All right, man.
I-
I've
You
matured,
hear that here?
okay, dude. Now let's see some
But
fucking
I
robots smash into each other.
yeah,
hell
exactly.
yeah, I like my funny robots doing funny things. I don't want to think about the returning to Eden and God and
And you-
the Lance and demons. I want what is that? The dance battle with the angels was cool though, and the infamous sniper scene that was cool.
All right. Anyways,
Yeah,
sorry.
what's my mail score? I'm gonna give it a solid 7 point. I'm gonna reverse. I'm gonna use your mail score against you. I'm gonna give it a 7.61 instead of a 6.71.
Okay.
It's
Anyways,
hit or miss. Watch it if you. I'll still recommend it though. I like it.
okay.
Oh, I forgot to
Anyways,
mention the big kicker. Uchida Maya sings the opening.
yes,
That's
yes.
cool, I guess. But the real kicker is the ending. Ending's gonna. Here's a spoiler. Ending's gonna be a contender in one of my best endings of the season because it's I Kotaba sang by Alia, and you know what? Alia's pretty cool. If you
Yeah,
don't know who she is, I'm sorry. Where have you been?
all right. Well, thank you, Toast, for helping to cover again KimiZero, also known as Keikenzumi na Kimi to Keikenzero no Oro ga Otsukiai suru Hanashi. Our dating story, the experienced you and the inexperienced me. Pretty standard, I think, rom-com done or animated by Studio Engi. So please check it out if you have the time. And moving on next to Dark. What do you have for us?
I have um uh Hikikomari Kyuuketsuki no Monmon. Or
Yes.
The Vexations of a Shut-In Vampire Princess. And
Is
yeah, I guess I'll just
is this is not yeah, this is definitely a light novel, right? I think.
this is a light novel original.
Yes.
This is being done by Project Number 9, the
Okay.
studio. I'm trying to
Uh,
think of what their
Isoru
recent stuff
Netage,
is. I guess
yeah.
Netage,
Dio
yeah.
no Shikoto, yeah. The
Yeah, so
usual kind of stuff.
they've
It's a
been
lot of
floating
like
around.
rom-com. Oh right, I keep forgetting they're the Ryokubu studio.
Yeah, and so the audio visuals for this are pretty solid. This seems to be a
Uh-huh.
first for the director. As far as like full directing, it seems like he's done some
Hmm.
episode directing here and there throughout the years, mostly done key animations and animation directing, but this appears to be the first like, actual full director role. And spoiler alert, it do be showing. um so this series is about we kind of like open on a vampire girl being a shut-in. She's just in her room, and this is 3 years after she became a shut-in, and you're not really shown why at first. It's explained to you that she dislikes blood as a vampire, and she's very weak because of it. Now, let's see. And during this, I forget what deal she cuts with her dad. Her parents are like, higher ups in the vampire world, in their nation, and she makes a deal that she'll become like a general, essentially, in an army, in their army. And so then she becomes the commander of the Molnite Army, which is her nation. And for some reason, their army is primarily built up of sort of like degenerates or like fuck ups. And it becomes her job essentially to straighten them out and lead them. Now, this series has a lot of world building, and it's not very good world building. So, to get past how the world functions is basically there are these like dark orbs that fuel each nation, and they make it so that no one within the nation can die. And then centered between all like the 5 nations in the center is essentially the warring lands, where all of their dark orbs have influence, and that's where they meet to do battle. And I think that is more, at least as far as I understand, that's more to avoid like essentially like messing with people's lives or doing like infrastructure damage. Because it does seem like no matter what nation you're in, you don't die. Like dark orbs essentially have influence like over everything. And so yeah, so there's no true death, and it's more of a war game. At least that's what's revealed to you. So,
Don't tell me this is like a VR thing, or
No, it's not. It's
good.
just straight up like there are just
Not
magic
a
orbs that keep everyone
what
alive.
what is that shitty show? Raindrop thing? Raindrop Protocol? Rainy Protocol? No.
Protocol Rain, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have our main character, Hikikomari, Ganda's Blood, and her maid Vilhaze. You also have the like queen / leader, Karen Helvetius. And so a lot of the moment to moment stuff is kind of the Yuri posturings from Vilhaze towards the MC. I would compare it more to a like more aggressive, maybe like Kuroko to Makoto thing from Railgun. I guess if you wanted to like do a direct comparison, it's like one of those shticks. It's like pretty fun with that. It is so the first episodes are very heavy on comedy. There is annoyingly so in some cases. There is a bit of like a guy who keeps getting killed. He gets like he wants to sort of prove that Hikikomari is actually really weak. And he tries to attack her to sort of like essentially to assert dominance and be like, why would you lead us? You're not even like a strong vampire. And so the bit for the first couple episodes is kind of like him just dying through happenstance. Like he initially like tries to charge her, dive at her through a door, through like these double doors. And then the double doors wind up like slamming shut on his neck, and it kills him. Then at another point, Hikikomari is like trying to take out like a Quillen for like to just ride it as like her mount. But they're like lightning fast, and she loses control of it, and it kicks him in the head while he's like plotting his revenge against her, and then kills him again. So there's a lot of stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff of the ruffians like getting into shit. There's a really fucking annoying guy who like does like this really shitty rap bit like slash like beatbox bit, and it fucking sucks. Like it's awful. It's like not funny. It's just dog shit. Like I skipped it when he was coming on screen. I was like, no, I'm done. Like, no, thank you. This is like this bit
Sick.
is
Sick, bro.
fucking rancid.
How bad is the bit compared
It's
to
really
something?
bad. Like I'm trying to think of like another bit that like really bothered me as much as this, and I can't really think of it. It's one of those things where you think that it would last like it's a bit that you would expect to last like 10 seconds. Like I thought this guy was gonna get his fucking skull
okay.
caved in as like a joke because he's annoying, like 10 seconds into it or 5 seconds into the bit. And then the bit just goes on for like 2 minutes at one point, and then that's just his character throughout the entire series. And he comes up like a decent amount of times.
Is it like
So
the
that's a
baby?
shame.
Is it like the baby sensory stream? Because that bit was horrible.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's like a really bad Germa bit that just keeps going, and that you wish would stop.
Hell yeah.
Except it's like not even funny because like how like awful the bit is. It's just awful in how awful it is. So that was really unfortunate. That guy like stops kind of showing up as much a little later on. But you know, we kind of got to get into the meat and potatoes here. So she starts leading this army. They're very successful, like kind of right off the bat, just through like happenstance and through assistance of her maid Vilhays. And then another character shows up named Millicent Blue Knight on episode 3. And she just goes like, haha, I am going to fucking kill you now, Terakomari, because I hate you. Yeah, they're at like a party, and this chick breaks in, and she's like, I'm part of like the lunar cult or the full moon cult or something. And then she like kills a couple guards, and they're like, or like a guard, and they're like, oh my god, they're not regenerating because she has like a true article weapon made out of this alloy that when you get killed by it, you die for real.
Wow.
Okay.
And so then yeah, she like taunts her, and then for the next like 3 episodes, now no comedy. Comedy's over, you fucking idiot. You thought this was a comedy series? Well, you're stupid. You're a fucking moron, because there's no more comedy. Now it's time for serious stuff and drama and action. And then Vilhays gets kidnapped. And then there's like a whole section where it's like, oh, Millicent Blue Knight was really mad because Terakomari like fucked up her life in the past, and like she was like bullying her because she was like, oh, you're like a noble rich girl who like doesn't suffer and like doesn't have to do anything with her life. And I hate you, so I'm gonna bully you. And then she bullies her too hard, and then apparently something happened when she bullied her too hard, and it made her life even worse. But you're not allowed to know what that is for like another couple episodes of Vilhays being tortured and stabbed and whatnot. And so this arc then gets into the fact that Millicent hates our main character because she was forced by her father to activate I don't even remember what it was called. It was basically like, hey, do you know that if like you have someone go through hardships like hard enough, they could just activate like God mode? And we'll just call this power God mode.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
forget what it's called, but they're just like, yeah, it's
Called
like,
called character growth.
no, they're just like, yeah, and you get like crazy strong, and it's awesome. And so like Millicent's dad was obsessed with this idea and put her through like brutal training to like try and activate this god mode thing in her. Not disregarding the fact that I don't think there was any indicator that she could even do this, like enter this state of being. So I guess he just did it because, you know, maybe there's a chance. So that was stupid. But yeah, so that's why she hates her. Now, lo and behold, we get to the sort of wrapping up of the arc where Hikikomari shows up to save Vilhaze, who's being like strung up and fucking stabbed or whatever with the genuine article weapon and shit. And, you know, Millicent's like, I'm gonna make you watch your maid die. But then some stuff happens, like she uses like, you know, what do you call it? Like traps and shit and like magic crystals essentially to amplify her power and sort of like MacGyver's her way to free Vilhaze. But Millicent is still there. So she frees Vilhaze, you know, briefly. But that doesn't really matter. So in the struggle, essentially, Hikikomari, who hates blood, winds up getting a little bit of blood in her mouth, like a drop of blood from Vilhaze in her mouth. Or no, I think she just drinks Vilhaze's blood, something like that. Something happens with that, and then she goes into the super god mode, the super overpowered god mode, and then makes both of Millicent's arms explode, and then rips her head off of her body during a big fight scene.
Fuck?
Now, the big fight scene looked good. But it also randomly had an insert song that like kind of came out of fucking nowhere, as if this was like a super duper like climax that we were building up to. But it was very like start and stop. And so like the insert song just starts playing and I'm like, this is episode 5. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, what is this? Like what is going on?
Is it a good insert song?
I mean, it's fine. It's like pretty generic, pretty like whatever. But it's like what you would expect out of like some random like fucking action series or like I don't know, like Sword Art or something. But yeah, so then that happens and then that resolves. And then we're back to like the day-to-day comedy stuff. And so it turns out that Hikikomari was hypnotized to not like blood because she's too dang strong.
What the fuck is going on?
Hell
Okay,
yeah,
what
dude.
is
Then
can I,
the
can I
series just
interrupt you for a
goes
second?
there.
What is sort of the focus of this series? Is this
Yeah,
like
I'm
some
so
sort of
glad
action
you asked. I'm
adventure?
still trying to find that out.
Is this like some sort of slow life kind of thing? Is this an action adventure? What is going on right now?
So to answer all of your questions, no and yes.
And yes.
And yes, and I don't really know. This is why I fucking hate this series, and I think it's dog shit. Now, this light novel could be great, and this director could just be a fucking moron. But I don't know. But ultimately, whatever is doing this, the pacing of this series is awful. It's one of the worst paced series I've seen in a very, very long time. I would say
But the problem
it's...
is the additional problem is it's also that you not only don't know the pacing, but you don't even know what the pacing should be because you don't know what the focus
Yeah,
of
it's
the
like
story is. 'Cause
I
if you
genuinely
know what the
don't
focus of the story
understand like what they
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah.
Like because again, like I would say like this only makes sense for people who have seen something like Railgun or Index. I would say like take Railgun or Index and literally divide its comedy, like first of all, like divide its comedy and action bits and like all the world building and stuff, like segment it and just like throw them like put the comedy all in like one part, like right in the beginning, and then have like
Yeah.
no real build up to things, and then have like the action and world building stuff on like episode 3 onwards. And it's like that's what you're getting here. Like it's awful. It has like there's like no real balance to it whatsoever. It's just the scales
Is
tip
this
one way to the other like whenever the fuck it
Can I
wants
ask?
to.
You've watched 9 episodes of this. I'm assuming 9 episodes.
I've watched
are
like
out right
7
now, or is it
episodes of this, 7 or 8. I've watched like 7
Are
or
there
8. I
9
have not
episodes?
caught
Yeah.
up.
Okay. So
I'm not fully
is
caught
this
up.
slated? Yeah. Is this slated to be 12 episodes or 24 episodes or how many episodes? Is
This is slated to be 12 episodes.
Okay, like
So,
what the fuck
I
is
have
going?
no idea what, like, I don't know what the resolution is supposed to be. I don't know what the point of the fucking series is. Because like
fucking
the
ultra
moon
mega blood
cult,
explosion, obviously.
the moon
Yeah.
cult, but like that's been like I don't understand. Like, is this just gonna be like a series of like, I don't know, like I guess a series of arcs or whatever that are surrounded by like Hikikomari like activating her like fucking blood god mode every now and then maybe like learning more about it, because like I guess that's like possible, and not very good, but again, like it's mostly not very good because of like the complete lack of balance, like the fact that the dial gets dragged like to 100 on either end. Like that's why I mean, again, I opened with explaining this and ran through it because like that's really the only way to capture like how awful and confusing these like this lack of balance is. Because again, like this series that had a fight where like a character's arms get blown off, and then like all of these like super edgy bits where it's like, oh my god, she's got like the real weapon that'll fucking kill you if you die. For real this time.
But
Like,
is this supposed to be like? Are the
also the
lore...
introduction of all these things is like fucking like the worst examples of exposition fucking imaginable.
Can I just ask? Okay, it sounds kind of silly, but it's not if you've like read enough anime, or sorry, watched enough anime, read enough manga, whatever. I mean, even just like stories in general. But can I ask, if is the lore in this story supposed to be taken seriously?
Yes. 100%.
Okay.
It's 1000%
Okay.
serious. Also, the dark cores were not introduced in a serious manner either.
Oh my god.
Because it was
Okay.
introduced where like Hikikomari is like leading them against like these weird looking beast people. Or not even weird looking, they just look like they're like cartoony like animal people. And so they like they like light them on fire and shit. Like they kill all of them. It's not like that
Okay.
brutal, but they kill all of them, and then they all get like resurrected, and they get up and they're like, damn, haven't actually lost and died in a while. That's crazy. And then they all walk off, and then they're like, yeah, this world has these things called dark cores, and there's no death in this world. And then 2 episodes later, they're like, here's the true weapon that'll kill you if you die. So
you die in
that's
real
cool.
life if they kill you with this.
Yeah, it's like here's this real thing, because like the stakes are real now. I know that we showed this as comedy, but now the stakes are real. So
what kind of death
You
weapon
know.
are you talking about? Is it like a death note or is it like Gable?
no, it's like a dagger. It's just a dagger made out of an alloy that like will kill you if you get killed.
So wounds will not
Really kill
heal when
you.
you get stabbed with it. That kind of
It's
thing.
like Rule Breaker,
Yeah, well,
dude.
your wounds don't really heal in general with the dark core, I don't think. Like, or rather, they take a
Dark
decent amount
core.
of time. Like, you still gotta like. I think it's more so like when you get fully killed is when you get like fully resurrected. Your healing is
so
like
you're
still slower.
so what
It's
you're
almost
saying
like
it's
it's almost like the chick from Bungo Stray Dogs, where she has to like fucking hack you to pieces to like fully heal you.
so you're saying
Um,
it's like Rule Breaker in a way because it
Yeah,
breaks
pretty
the
much.
rules.
Like, it's just
And you're-
it's very
you're-
stupid. Like, to me, it's like very stupid to be like in 2 episodes be like, here's these like dark cores and there's no death, and then an episode later you're like, here's the thing that kills you when you die, by the way, just so you know. But mainly the real issue is that this series is like, 100 on a dial one way or the other at a time, and there's 0 balance.
Well,
And
I
it's
mean,
like bad.
it's like
so.
the problem with is not even how extreme it is. It's the fact that it's not picking a side and doing it properly. Because it's like, again,
Yeah, no,
when
I
it,
don't care about the extreme. It's just like there.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
even like
yeah.
I don't even think you need to pick a side. It's just like you need to have a balance of this. Then, like
Yeah,
you
or like
can't
you need to do what you're doing
again because
well, right? It's like
something like Railgun and Index like has these moments well like done. And I
yeah, yeah,
think
yeah.
the moments in this series could be considered well done if the balance was correct. But the problem
Mm.
is again, you go from like this dumbass fucking idiot like beatboxing like bit in one episode and that guy getting his skull caved in and dying over and over again slapstick bit to then being like, oh yeah, now this like random chick showed up who's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you because I fucking hate you and I have a weapon that kills people. And like then you just have drama and like action for 3 episodes. And it's like what the fuck? Like why? Like what is happening anymore? Like I don't get it. Like I thought this series was just pure slapstick comedy. Now you're just like pulling me aside and being like, no, now you have to actually take this super serious, by the way. Like this is fucking stupid. Like this is nothing. Like
Yeah.
it's very odd. It does not set the stakes properly in the beginning, and then it doesn't follow through with them properly, and then it immediately goes back to it appears to be like weird like slow life comedy shit after like
Yeah,
episode
because it's like the
was it
standard
like
structures for these
6 onwards or whatever seems to just be going back to not actually really talking about serious shit anymore.
Yeah, because it's like the way that you could structure this, right, would be one of two ways. One is if you want to emphasize the serious side a little bit more, you would start out with the serious side. You would do some in media res stuff. You quickly try to do some a little bit of exposition or narrative background to bring in the lore really quickly because again it's only 12 episodes, right? Do all this crap, run that for probably 3 to 4 to 5 episodes, have a slow life episode where you give in the comedic relief if need be, or you show the lax side with the with everybody else, and then go back to the series. That's one way to do it, and the other way to do it is if you want to emphasize the slow life stuff, you start off with the slow life, and then in episode 4 or 5, you bring in like bits and pieces of like the serious lore, and then build that up to like a mini arc or climax. The standard structure. But it's like this episode 2-3 of suddenly everybody's serious and people don't die when they are killed except when they're killed by the it's very like I don't know about that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like that's what I mean. It's like it's there are plenty of series that have done this type of stuff before. Again, like I think a good or like a decent enough comparison is like Raildex in the sense of that series has a balance of comedy. I would say Railgun
Yes, sir.
especially, where like Railgun has this usually a season of Railgun has a build up where it'll have very much like a slow life and comedy Yuri stuff in the first episode and kind of drop hints of like, it'll say like here are where our characters are at, and then it'll drop hints of what the upcoming arc is gonna be, like the serious
Yeah,
arc.
it has very good
Like
like splits between the soul life and the actual lore
yeah,
of it.
and the slow life bleeds into that in a much better way where it'll like
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's also not turning up the slow life and comedy up to like 1 million right away either, which
Yeah.
is also beneficial. Usually there'll be like a crime that happens or something, and it'll establish like, like there's crimes going on in this city, like there is like, threats in this city that are happening. You'll catch up with the characters and it'll introduce sort of the new shtick for an arc, whether that be um the like dream Indian poker cards, um, and it'll introduce it in a way that wraps into the slow life, and then it'll be like, okay, well, how does this tie in? Like this will become sort of tied into the more serious aspects like coming up. Like how are like these things will be being used in a crime or something like that. Plenty of series do these things. Plenty of just in general, like any series that has action and comedy will do something like that. But this series doesn't do that. This series decides to be a pure comedy series for 2 episodes, and then a pure drama action series for 3 episodes, and then stick back to a comedy action or no, a comedy series after that, and so on and so forth, it seems. And that's really bad. And again, I don't know if that is to do with the source material or if that's to do with the director, like looking at the source material, seeing that they have 12 episodes for this light novel based series, and then being like, well, we're not going to get jack shit done in 12 episodes. And then just kind of really flubbing on balance.
Yeah, it was.
Which is possible, and it's unfortunate. And
I
if you
feel
couldn't
like they could
tell,
also
it
have maybe just
really
like
gets
instead of
under my
doing
skin
that,
when a series does this.
yeah, instead of doing that sort of weird truncation, they could have. I feel like at this point,
I mean, I don't even know if
almost
it's
just
truncation.
doing.
I don't know. I can't speak on it because I've never read the source
Yeah,
material.
yeah, yeah. I'm saying if it was a truncation at that point, it would almost have been better to just do a straight add up, cut it off with like a kind of we all ran into the sunset ending kind of in episode 12, and just have it be a very blatant promotion. I think that would almost be better than whatever you just described in this
Yeah,
series.
or try and try and then like vie for a season 2. Because like don't get me wrong, like if I like turn off my brain and like isolate these sections of the series, I'm like, yeah, this drama action, good. This world building, like the world itself, interesting. Some of the plot endings, nice. These characters, enjoyable. Except for the beatboxing asshole. Really wish he wasn't in the series, just even in the comedy aspect. But then when you take the characters and then you transition them to between these parts, I'm like, no, now I don't like them. Because I was liking these characters the way they were behaving in the sort of slapstick comedy part. I like that. I liked them there. And now you're kind of like tweaking them and changing them and asking me to like them in this new part. And I was like, well, in that case, I don't like them here. I'm like not enjoying them as much. So that's kind of like where I'm at in that regard. Like I'm really not a huge fan of the way this series is handling that. And like I said, like it super gets under my skin because it's like it just feels wrong. It feels like you are watching this series and asking yourself what the fuck am I even doing? Like what is even going on? Like so many things are happening right now and none of them feel like they mean anything. Because in one episode you're telling me about a dark core and you're being like, yeah, here's a dark core, and you say to yourself, oh, okay, the dark core stuff is so that we can have this like war game thing, but maintain the lighthearted like slapstick comedy elements to it. And where where it doesn't really matter, like, there aren't really like stakes. And so this is like, this Hikikomari like vampire girl and stuff like that. But then you immediately turn around and be like, just kidding. That dark core stuff is actually here to set up like the drama aspect of there's a person who's like, using something that'll kill people that are, taking advantage of this core essentially. And it's just like, the place the series is going to is entirely unpredictable then. And it's a shame.
I just think
It's a shame, especially because
I-
again, like I said, like its actual quality is nice. Like its audio visuals are very good, I would say. And all of that stuff is great. So it's a deeper shame that the series is like this.
it just wants to go too deep too quickly. And it's just it's just not ready for it, or it's not written in a way where the deeper stuff or the lore stuff how do I say this? It's not engaging enough to the viewer.
Yeah, I mean, it either needed to set the stakes earlier. No, actually, no. It just needed to set the stakes earlier. Like, because I was gonna say
it
it needed
needed
to
to
set the
it needed
stakes
to
earlier
initially
or
start out with,
bleed into
hey,
them more. But
it's like, hey, we might be actually serious about this. Well, like, sure, there might be a Hikikomori like shut-in princess, but we might actually be serious about this story instead of being like,
yeah,
yeah, haha, shut-in princess. By the way, like, people can fucking die, and you're like, what?
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
honestly, it would have been more reasonable if there were no dark cores, and they were like, oh,
Mhm.
there's like slapstick comedy, and we introduced this character, voiced by fuck, why can't I remember his name? It's the voice actor. Yusuke Kobayashi. Like that's
Hmm.
the guy who keeps getting killed as a bit. But like,
Hmm.
if they honestly, it would have been even fine if this series didn't feature these dark cores, and it was just like the joke was that we had a character voiced by Kobayashi Yusuke who is like plotting to defeat her, who immediately gets killed by a door, and he's just never in the series again because he's fucking dead. Like,
Hmm.
even if the stakes were like that, this series would probably balance the drama and comedy better because you wouldn't have that like immediate hit with, the dark core being like, okay, there are no stakes. And that's why this is a comedy. And then just being like, no, the stakes are real because there are things that can get around it. Like, well,
Hmm.
that's kind of stupid. Especially because it was supposed to be like war games. And it's like, okay, you think that the series is going to go in the direction of like Terakami just doing like the war games. And since there are no one can die, but she wants to like fool everyone into thinking she's a super powerful vampire to like keep her position, um, and whatnot. But then like the series doesn't go that way. And it just, I don't know. It just does not feel right. So yeah. I
Yeah,
would
it's a little bit unfortunate.
I would not recommend this series. To say the least.
Well, yeah, it's a little bit
Would I
unfortunate
my
that it
mall
kind of ended up
rating?
being this sort of crash.
I mean my mall rating would be like just a 6. Like, and like my true rating would
A
be just like
six,
a
huh?
6. Yeah, I like, but there are like real 6s. Like, I really wouldn't recommend you watch. Like, to be honest,
Oh, okay. From
I'm
that
still
perspective,
being
okay.
like, I wouldn't recommend you watch it. Like, it's still like it's a 6, but it's like
It's
I don't
not like
know.
on the abject horrible side, is sort of what
Yeah,
you're
because
saying.
again, like the audio visuals are great. Like,
Okay.
and some of these bits are pretty solid, but again, just the pacing and the juxtaposition of things is very bad to the point where I wouldn't recommend it from that aspect. But I think the series overall is like, it has shit going for it, obviously. Like, if you can somehow look
Right.
past that stuff, then you're in for a good time probably. But like for me, it's like I cannot. Like, there's no way I can like forgive a series that has such like just bizarre balance to it or lack thereof.
Right.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
or whatever that is, let's not do that sound.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, thank you, Dark, for helping to cover Vexations of a Shut-in Princess. Again, it was a little bit of a unfortunate. I thought, because it is actually pretty popular if I remember correctly, right? But it's a little bit unfortunate that the
Yeah, I
anime
mean
at the
probably
very
like I
least
can see
didn't.
why. Like it has all the ingredients, right? Like it
Hmm.
has like the extreme Yuri stuff between like with the
Yeah, the Yuri
maid.
stuff was really popular. Yeah,
Um and again, like that could work fine. Even if it was
as long as the
mostly like
serious stuff doesn't
if like
kind of
that
headbutt it.
was
Yeah,
just the most of the comedy. But again, the fact
yeah,
that they
yeah,
started out like so comedic heavy, like that was just it was not doing it for me.
yeah. Very unfortunate. Again, vexations of a shut-in vampire princess. Hikikomari Kyuuketsuki no Monmon. So yeah, if a little bit unfortunate, but it is the most recent uh, anime produced by Project Number 9 based off the light novel original. Thank you very much, Dark. Next on the list here, we have another not I guess near not taking the bullet. I think last time you had a pretty decent run of it, right? It wasn't like bad or anything like that.
Yeah.
Undead Unluck was fine. So you're actually taking less bullets than you imagined. To be fair, it was just like the first couple of 1 or 2 episodes, right?
Yeah, bro. To be
s-
fair, I only took 2 bullets in one episode, and then another bullet that was like the size of a fucking cannonball.
Hey man.
Yeah, no biggie, bro.
Hey. One episode you had 2 series, but technically it was just one entire flaming dumpster fire. Okay, so technically you just only had to spend 2 hours ranting about how shitty FLCL sequels were.
So shit, dude.
Anyways, what do you have first?
Yeah, so I watched Kusuriya no Hitorigoto, also known
Yes.
as the Apothecary Diaries.
This is this has been honestly a niche hit for quite a while.
Yeah, it's been popping
it
up.
is
This
light
is
novel
a light
original, right?
novel original. This
Yep.
is a Studio OLM production.
No, actually, this is a web novel, if I remember correctly, too.
Oh,
It's like a
really?
not okay, yeah, a
Right.
full web novel. Yeah.
Gotcha. But yeah, this is a sort of a period piece, drama, but ancient Chinese medicine. A lot of hoodoo and hand
Yes.
waving going on in this one.
How fast would you die if you played a drinking game where you took a drink every time they said elixir?
Surprisingly, they don't say that very often.
Damn.
But yeah, they do say potions though. They do make potions, so
How strong are these potions in here?
they're not very strong. They basically call it just like cold medicine potions. So, but yeah, this is a pretty much a largely episodic, sort of slow life series with some minor drama sprinkled in here and there. There's some minor romance subplots, but yeah, the basic premise is our main character, Mao Mao, is a young girl living in the sticks, basically. She's living in the fucking middle of nowhere.
Yep.
She lives with her grandfather, and one day when she goes out to get herbs for her potions, she gets kidnapped by bandits, and she basically gets sold off to the Imperial Palace, where she becomes a handmaiden. And eventually, despite her best efforts to keep her head down, she gets noticed by one of the eunuchs that is sort of working within the palace, and sort of recruits her to be a lady in waiting for one of the emperor's concubines. And she ends up working as an apothecary, solving sort of the woes of some of the people within the palace, some of the mysteries within the palace, uncovering some secrets here and there. And it's a pretty much just a almost entirely episodic series. And it's generally pretty good. It's pretty solid. There's not a whole lot to say about it other than it is just generally good. Audio visuals, again, this is an OLM production. The audio visuals are really good. The color palette is very pleasant to look at. The character acting animation is very good. The backgrounds are fucking gorgeous, as you would expect for a sort of ancient Chinese series with taking place almost entirely within a very
This is actually being done in co-production with Toho Animation Studio and OLM,
Yeah.
huh?
Yep.
Toho Animation Studio obviously being known for, Godzilla, but some other key shows as well, but generally having, quite a lot of money and manpower
Yeah.
back them up. Yeah.
Yeah, the backgrounds for this series are very pretty, as you would expect for, an ancient Chinese historical setting within a, very opulent imperial palace. Everyone is sort of wearing, a lot of the imperial concubines are wearing very fancy flowing dresses. You know, a lot of them have very elaborate makeup on, and very fancy sort of like head rests and pins in their hair and stuff like that. It's all it's a very pretty show to look at. The eyes are very detailed and shiny and sparkly. The sort of, I guess, the male lead Jinshi, he's sort of a um, stereotypical bishi, right? And he's very used to using his good looks to sort of get his ways, and swoon the ladies. And every time he sort of turns that on, the sparkles come around. You know, he's got the roses and stuff around him.
Right,
Um,
right.
But yeah, overall, very pretty to look at. The music is actually really charming. In some of the more comedic moments. Other than that, like outside of the sort of more slice of life comedic moments, it's kind of just generic.
How much is the
shiny
comedic
strings?
how much is the comedic stuff interspersed in the series?
So
Sure.
it's actually balanced really well.
Okay.
So the show knows when to be serious and when not, right? So the character interactions largely are fairly comedic. A lot of the times they're pretty upbeat, especially between Mao Mao and Jinshi. They sort of have a sort of like a love-hate relationship going on where, Mao Mao finds Jinshi kind of creepy, but Jinshi kind of finds her a bit, endearing because Mao Mao is like the only girl in the palace that isn't like instantly captivated by his good looks. So they've got kind of that dynamic going on, and they kind of bicker back and forth. But then when there's moments that are like, say, um, there's a lot of moments in this series that sort of have either like introspection or just generally like, you know, looking at sort of how women are treated in a setting like, a Chinese imperial palace. And it knows how to, sort of treat that in a manner that's, not like preachy, um, but it still sort of gets the message across that, like, women didn't really have that great of a time in this era of history, right? But it knows when
But
to,
that's not really the focus, right? It's like
no, it's sort of like a backdrop thing that sort of gets mentioned every once in a while. But yeah, the main focus is sort of just general episodic, like, oh, somebody in the palace has sort of fallen sick, and now Mama has to sort of figure out what's wrong with them, and either make a medicine for them, or just generally nurse them back to health. One of the episodes is one of like the emperor himself sort of goes to Mao Mao and is like, "Can you look after one of my concubines because she's fallen ill?" And the reason she's fallen ill is basically um, one of her children had passed, right? And she'd sort of kind of like lost the will to like eat, basically. And so the entire episode was essentially Mao Mao sort of having to uh, get through this sort of like snotty nature of um, this concubine's like handmaidens, and like actually, sort of humble them so that way she could actually treat the concubine and then nurse her back to health. And it was sort of a, you know, general group effort kind of thing. There's some drama interspersed here and there. But yeah, it's sort of just stuff like that. There's ghost stories and stuff here and there. But yeah, it's just general episodic hijinks.
how much of sort of a background romance and or drama is continuous and uh kind of aiming to build up into some sort of like climax is sort of what I'm trying to get at.
So the only general thread that's really pretty consistent so far is sort of the dynamic between Mao Mao and Jinshi, in that, like I said, Jinshi sees Mao Mao as sort of, a person of interest, because Mao Mao is the only person in the palace that doesn't isn't constantly swooning over Jinshi, or she isn't easily manipulated by him, um, and he sort of sees that as oh, like this is somebody to sort of keep my eye on, right? So there's a little bit of um, pull there for the romance. They've had some moments here and there. That's kind of the only real main thread right now. There's been a couple mentions of the main concubine that Mamo serves under is Gyokyo. She's like this redheaded concubine, and she's like the emperor's favorite or whatever. There's some sort of there's the occasional mention where she is she doesn't really care for the emperor that much, even though she's his concubine, even though she's basically birthed his child already. Like, she doesn't really care for him that much, right? He doesn't really treat her that well. And there's been a couple episodes that have dealt with love and true love and stuff like that she sort of expressed grievances and stuff like that, but there isn't really a very core central subplot that's sort of carried throughout all the episodes for it. It's very episodic, right? Like you could just watch any episode out of the current ones right now.
So again, it's a little bit more like the standard episodic journey kind of Mushishi, or
sort of,
Natsume
but
Yuji
it's
kind of stuff.
pretty much entirely centralized in the Imperial Palace, right? Like they don't
Right, exactly.
Yeah, they don't journey across China, right? But yeah,
it's almost like what was that series, the Crow, that it had Crow in the name? It was
Yeah.
like a similar palace intrigue kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's kind of similar to that in a sense, right?
yeah, it's pretty similar. Obviously, I think that one was Kokyo no Karasu. That one obviously dealt with a lot more supernatural elements, right? Like that one had more ghosts and magic, mages and familiars and stuff like that. This is a lot more grounded. Like pretty much most of the issues is a soldier comes in and he's like, I've been cursed, and Mao Mao's like, you just have a rash, dude. Like, you got a rash. So it's mostly stuff like that. It's a lot more
which is a
grounded.
result of the curse.
True. But yeah,
Has
there
anyone
is
run on air or triple jump yet?
No, not yet.
Near, how strong is your poison resistance?
Pretty weak. Pretty weak.
Yeah, is there a poisons guy? Is there a poisons guy who throws poison at people?
No. But Mao Mao is her role in the palace is basically a poison taste tester. So
How much fugu can you eat near?
I've never had. So.
Anyways, anything else about it? I mean, again, it's a little bit hard to kind of extend too much upon it because it is kind of episodic. But it is 12 episodes, right? And it's just going to be 12 episodes of episodic
this
stuff.
This is scheduled for 24.
Jesus Christ!
So I imagine this is probably
that makes sense.
I'm assuming as it goes on. I'm assuming as it goes on, it'll probably sort of centralize more into a core plot. But as of right now, it's very episodic. There is some sort of hints at some it's in the middle of fucking Chinese imperial palace, so a lot of people are they have their own motivations, and there's constantly gossip going on amongst the handmaidens, and there's secret meetings going on here and there, but they haven't revealed much. They're not really alluding to any sort of grand conspiracy or anything right now. So far it's pretty innocent, episodic adventures, and it's overall solid. There's really the thing is about this show is it doesn't really do anything that's overly exceptional, but it also doesn't do anything bad. You know what I mean? Like there's
Right.
there's really nothing that I can say like bad about the show. Like it is just overall like it's all positives, but there's nothing about this show that's like this is amazing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It is just generally good. I imagine if you're more into slow life series, this would probably be a lot more up your alley than it was for me.
What if you like Chinese manhwa? Near, I like my Chinese manhwa.
I mean, again, this doesn't have people walking on air. This doesn't have swords of the heavens. So, no. If you
Doesn't
like
even
the
have
more,
elixir.
yeah, if you like the more grounded slow life stuff, you know, this is probably up your alley. The
How are the
voice cast is really good.
how is the potions near?
Um,
How is the potion crafting?
I mean, it's pretty simple. It's kind of just like a cooking show at the end of the day. They kind of just cut up a bunch of like herbs and they put it into a like a
Do they tell you the names of those herbs?
sometimes yeah, sometimes not really.
Near. How close are you to giant hogweed?
I don't know.
I googled poisonous plants in Canada, and you have quite a few of them. Are you okay?
There's quite a few poisonous plants around. Well, actually, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, there are a lot of poisonous plants. The real danger is if they like secrete poison.
Yeah.
Here, don't eat castor
They do go off about rhododendrons a lot in this show.
Were rhododendrons in I was about to say Canada, China.
I mean there were a lot of flowers in China.
Well,
They
has
talk
she
about flowers in this show a lot. 'Cause it's Chinese.
has she gotten high off of opium yet?
No. I think it's a bit early for that. But
Bit early, as in the time period.
yeah.
All right.
Anyways, thank you, Near. Any last words on the series? I guess Mal rating.
Yeah, I mean it's just generally a good show.
Did you take her in a fight near?
Probably yeah, she's pretty small.
Or she used poison on you? Or she spit poison at you, like in the pro wrestling, the poison spit.
I mean, I'll just fucking close my mouth, dude. What's she gonna do? I'll just kick her.
What if she does the kiss of death?
It's
Is she
okay.
poison ivy? Is she what is happening? Yeah.
I'll
Spire,
just
Spire, don't you know that you can put poison on lipstick?
I'll just peel off my fake lips like Robin and Batman.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh my god. Anyways,
But yeah, overall, generally a good show. I do recommend it if you're into, more slower paced series.
What's your Mal rating again?
Probably give it somewhere between like 7.5 and an 8. It's just generally a good show.
All right. Well, again, that was Kusuriya no Hitorigoto, also known as Apothecary's the Apothecary Diaries, originally a Naroke web novel. So if you do want to check it out, again, it was a niche hit, or since a while back. Yeah, it's been a niche hit since a while back, and you're obviously telling us why exactly that is. So if you do want a more episodic kind of, talk about medicine and a little bit of the whole like romance, all that stuff sprinkled in, uh, plus obviously the mysteries in the Imperial Palace, please do check this out. And last, I guess it's my turn here. And I'm going to be also covering one of the, I want to say bigger names, or one of the more kind of anticipated names of the season. And it is Shy. So this is the series being done by 8-Bit Studios. If you guys don't know, it was the studios that kind of started out with stuff like Rail Wars and stuff like that, Infinite Stratos, and then they eventually worked on stuff like Yamano Susume as well as Mahoka, the regular at Magic High School. And so obviously they've grown a little bit, especially after stuff like Mahoka, but that is what they're doing. This is a
But
manga
is this
original.
better than Rail Wars?
Is this better than Real Wars? Well, I'm going to get into that because that's a good question, despite it maybe potentially being an apples to oranges comparison. But I think we'll get to the answer to that
I think it's a
pretty
pretty
shortly.
apt comparison.
Yeah, exactly. This is based on a manga original by Kimi Miki. I believe this is their only work so far. Director storyboard is done by Masaomi Ando, who has kind of been all over the place. He's uh, worked in Gakugurashi, White Album 2, Love Love Alternative, Total Eclipse, worked with a whole bunch of different studios. And this time around, for Shy, he is working with his sort of writing buddy, the person who has usually been under him for storyboards scripts, Yasuhiro Nakanishi, who has been working with him from Rumble Garandol and stuff like Undefeated Bahama Chronicle back during their days at Lurches Studios. And he brings along a group of pretty decently experienced people. Although a lot of those people are not necessarily the veterans at the positions that they are in Shy. They're kind of people that have a lot of experience in stuff like key animation, second animation, stuff like that, that are moving up to sort of top directorial and management spots from, again, previously sort of assistant directorial posts. Of course, there are some other veterans in the work, like Shimoyama Kazuto, who did stuff like Akane Misumarusaka, many years ago, Assassination Classroom, Danganronpa anime, stuff like that. As well as Takatoshi Hamano as sound director, and Moronuki Tetsuro helping out with actually action animation. So he is he is an animation director, but he also specializes in directing action animation for stuff like the anime versions of Transformers or X-Men or Marvel. He did action animation for Slam Tensei. He did like action scenes for Initial D Legend 2 racer movie, as well as the Kuroko no Basket last game movie, stuff like that. So there's an actual like specialization that he excels at. So a couple of veterans here bringing up the works, and you can kind of see that in the visuals. They're done very well. 3D stuff has, the clearly 3D stuff has obviously every reason to be like where they are. Blending is done quite well, and the action scenes are quite good. A little bit the CG stuff, I think they did keep it a little bit basic because some of the CG people involved are a little bit newer, and I think 8-bit is trying to develop a lot of in-house capability because most of those people are in-house. But yeah, so CG stuff was kept a little bit basic. Most of it, again, like a couple of other, again, veteran stuff like that, and most of the other like key animation, second finish stuff like that, like sort of the side stuff is mainly from other like subcontractors and subcontractors like Studio Lings and Beho and like Nakamura Production, like names that you see all the time in these like assistant roles. So again, visuals are pretty good. One thing I would like to kind of point out is that I'm not the biggest fan of the transformation scenes. I think they could have been better. I think there was too much of like the fire and like, whoa, they're bursting into flames, and
I
you can
think
kind of see the fire.
I think Shy is pretty alright. I think the others they like fucking drastically skimped out on, and you can tell.
I actually like the thing is it's like the first full transformation sequence for Papacia was okay because you could see like
Yeah,
for instance
her
like the HUD or whatever stuff like that.
yeah,
That
her
was nice,
truncated one
but
is like nothing.
yeah, exactly.
It's
I
like a
just wish there
smoke
was
cloud in
less
a whiskey
fire.
glass. That was
Yeah. That's what I like. The transformation sequences. I might be a little bit biased because I'm again I and people like Toast and stuff like that. We're all like fans of watching the actual like person get like augments and like transform. You know what I
Hell
mean?
yeah,
Like
man! I
the
love
actual like direct
transformation scenes.
transformation. And this Shy's transformation scenes are kind of a lot of them are kind of covered in their element, like covered in ice or covered in blue flame or white flame or whatever it, or sorry, like orange flame or whatever it is. And I think that takes away from sort of the real, like what everybody comes for the transformation scenes, where it's like they can see like the actual body, like the person, like while the gear and the everything is being augmented. So I kind of I sort of get the idea, but I kind of wish there was a little bit more to it. But other than that, like most of it was pretty fine. Um, a quick note on the voice acting cast, a veteran cast, including Shimoji Shino. She did, Aikatsu main role. I think a couple of other stuff, Mikochi, stuff like that. Um, so she is surprisingly a veteran as well. A lot of other names, again, names that you guys have heard and seen like 1,000 times before. Murase Ayumu, Inoue Kikuko, Noto Mamiko. Notomaku especially did a pretty good job this time around, because she did again the voice acting of Hypatia Spirits, who is a little bit more of like a, it's like an Onesan role, but it's like a much more energetic kind of Onesan role, and energetic peppy kind of Onesan role. And I think usually her character, like the role she gets pigeonholed into, is like a much more calmer, like One-san kind of character and more graceful character. And so hearing Notomaniko fill out that more energetic role was pretty nice. Obviously, Saoshiro Miyuki, Tamura Mutsumi, or Toyama Nao, Hitakarina. Hitakarina, I was also pretty surprised at her sort of like very like crazy kind of psychopath voice kind of thing popping up. Sugita Tomokazu, Miki Shinichiro, stuff like that. Suzushiro Saimi. All, A-listers at the very least. So yeah, pretty good solid cast there. Opening, ending here. Opening Shiny Girl by Mindarin was very like standard J-Rock. There was nothing very impressive about it. Shiritai Kimochi by the sort of two main girls, the main voice actresses in the series, Shimoji Shino and Toyama Nao. It was again very standard kind of J-pop song ending. I didn't really see much about it. So that was that for the audio visuals as well as for the staff. So going over the synopsis really quick here. So what happens is the timeline is the world was going towards conflict, and then superheroes, or not superheroes, but individuals with superpowers appeared, and they kind of helped maintain peace and got people out of trouble, save people from burning buildings, stuff like that. And so they became those individuals became the representatives of their respective nations and were called heroes. And so one of those heroes, or I guess one of these heroes, is the representative hero from Japan called Shai. And her real name is Momijiyama Teru. And the first sort of part of the story is her um, grappling with what it means to be a hero, why she wants to be a hero, what she can do as a hero, stuff like that, and what happens when people are hurt, like despite her best efforts to save them, stuff like that. She meets up with other heroes and makes friends and stuff like that, and from then on, it's sort of this balance between expanding the cast, having the cast do introspectives, and also kind of network with the cast, the other members of the cast in general, plus um, expansion of lore, right? Because the villains need to be fleshed out, and the threat needs to be on the horizon, and all the superheroes need to gather and defeat the lore, and or not defeat the lore, but defeat the villains. And by helping to kind of flesh out the villains and they expand the villain lore, the character introspection also becomes deeper, stuff like that. Very standard, like back and forth. Expand upon the character backgrounds while also using that to further the villain background. And the general pacing of the story is kind of split up into, I want to say, mini arcs interspersed by bits and pieces of comedic relief, a little bit of stuff like an episode of like Soul Life, where not solo life, but like a slice of life episode where there'll be a little bit more expansion upon again the characters' backgrounds, whether it be Shy herself, the hero, and like how she feels about helping others or how she feels about her friends, versus and maybe some other episode will be there may be a slice of life about another hero episode about another hero and how she thinks about herself as a hero and her own background and history and stuff like that. So that's sort of how it's going. There are mini arcs again, villain expansion or exposition, plus character introspection and exposition, and a lot of the mini arcs are based around each of the characters as well. So, what do I sort of overall think of this series? I think um this is essentially an anime version of one of the sort of standard modern variants that we see these days on the superheroes, right? It's like, why do you want to be a hero? What happens when people get injured or despite my efforts to save them? um like, why, like, if my friends and family all say this, that, or the other thing, then how do I respond as somebody who simply wants to help them, stuff like that. We've kind of seen this general attempt to make the superhero story, the classic superhero story, a little bit more organic, right? By involving the gray morality area, right? By really kind of hearkening to, hey, why do you want to help others in the first place? Why do you want to be a superhero in the first place? Stuff like that. Um, and um, the thing is with Shy is that on face, it's a very like, oh yeah, nice like superhero transformation plus like we gotta defeat the villains kind of thing going on. That's nice. And I I'm okay with the themes, for example, being very cheesy, right? Like a lot of the lore is based around, oh, these bracelets represent the power of your heart, and the more heart you have, the more like the more whatever like courage or whatever emotions, proper emotions you have in your heart, the stronger you become. Stuff like that. I'm okay with that sort of lore, right? Because it's like it's fine. It's fine for superhero stories to be cheesy like that. And it's simpler than being like, "Oh, excuse me, we must measure the heart with blah blah blah." It's a good thing that Shy keeps it simple, right? That's fine. Um, the Some of the problems I have is I'll kind of split the problems I have into two parts. First, there's a very like obvious foreshadowing in some cases, like, oh, where it's just like, oh, this is a prelude to the friend that the hero just made, hero just made, that's gonna cause problems for the hero, stuff like that. The pacing, defeat the hurdle or monster of the day, resolve with a friend, and then do the date episode afterwards, stuff like that. The villain thematics, and it's like the whole, oh, I just want to make everybody, feel their natural emotion or whatever it is. Like, that's also very like obvious thing that's been done before. And the resolution, right? It's like, um how do we deal with like the hatred in people's hearts or like the loneliness in people's hearts or whatever it is. It's like, oh, just be kind to them, be a good person, all that good stuff, right? It's a Christmas miracle. um And so that sort of stuff is very obviously set out, and that kind of deflates a lot of the series for me because it's just like I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I've seen this 50 times before. It's kind of whatever. And that sort of integrates with my second part of the problem, which is Shy doesn't really bring anything to the table that I would really consider worth watching, except for like the cheesy Superman punches by the heroine, right? Like those scenes where it's like, oh, I'm gonna burst through, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna stand up again, because of my friends, I'm gonna burst through this. I'm gonna punch that motherfucker in the face. Stuff like that. Yeah, like sure.
In
That's a nice scene.
in terms of superhero anime Spire, how strong is she? What's her power level?
It's unknown because based upon how
Infinite potential,
on
though.
fire her heart is. Yeah, exactly. She has infinite potential, so who knows?
Who
But
can she beat in a fight? Can she beat?
either nobody or everybody. Again, that's like the whole it's that's part of the lore where it's just like, oh, if you have enough heart, you
Listen,
can
it's
beat
like
everybody.
Kamen
And
Rider
again, that's a
rules.
very
If you scream
yeah,
louder, you get more powerful.
yeah, exactly,
So you're
exactly.
saying she's powered by a G stone?
She's powered by a law.
Yeah. Uh, but what?
Why is
So the
she a
second part,
hero, Spire? What makes her a heroine of justice?
because she wants to help other people. Yeah.
Has she had that introspection yet?
Yeah, she's had that introspection, and it's again very standard. Like, because you have to.
Was she saved as a little girl in a mysterious fire, and then
No, but the childhood friend, or not childhood friend, but the close
The
friend
school
was.
friend
So
was.
yeah, exactly. So
so is that why she wants to become a heroine?
that's part of it, yes. But I mean, obviously there are
So
other
you're
reasons.
saying she's only a heroine because she took up someone else's dream and it's not her own dream? You know
That's
where
gonna
I'm
be
going
her
with this?
corruption arc. Yeah, it's gonna be her corruption arc. But
Is that when her from the future comes in, tries
yeah.
to kill her?
That would honestly be a better story than what we have right now. But
You know what is a better story than what you're describing here now, Spire?
what?
Unlimited Blade Works.
Put get Archer to come in. Is that what
That's what
you're?
I just said. You got to get her
Yeah,
from the
I
future
know
when
exactly,
she's evil,
exactly. But I-
because the strongest character or the strongest rival in all these hero stories is always yourself.
yeah, exactly. You mean the inner darkness or the darkness inside of you? You mean? Um,
I
but
guess if you want to put it by persona rules, sure.
yeah. But so what I kept thinking about this as I watched the series, and again, the series also is not only obvious, but I think it has a pretty plotting pacing because it wants to do a lot of stuff where it's just like it wants to do a little bit of that comedic relief, which was put in like pretty interesting moments. The timing of the comedic relief was pretty unique, so I did appreciate that a little bit. But it wanted to do a little bit of comedic relief. It wanted to do multiple slice of life episodes where it did the character introspections and really thought, why do I want to help these people? Or like, why am I like this? Stuff like that. It did that. It wanted to develop out the action scenes. It wanted to uh, give a little bit more lore on the villain or whatever. And all this stuff. So I think it had a little bit of harder time juggling it. So the pace was much slower than I expected. But it's just when I was watching this, I kept thinking to myself, like, why why am I watching this? Right? It's like take
You
out
gotta keep
the
watching to
transformation
find that
scenes.
answer.
Yeah, exactly. You'll find the answer in episode 11. But it's like if I take away, say, the transformation scenes, like even let's say this transformation scenes were really, really good, and it just took them away, right? Um, take away the punch Superman punch scenes. What am I watching in Shy that I can't get in literally any other series of a similar nature, or where it's like not even just like anime again, like Batman vs Superman, like Marvel stuff, or MCU stuff rather. Not even MCU, just like in the fucking comic books, right? It's like w- in Madoka, in Yuki Una's Hero, in um Symphogear, in all these things. What am I getting from Shy
This
that I
guy didn't
can't
say
get from anything
Nanoha.
else?
I can't believe him.
No, sorry, Nanoha. I did forget. I apologize. Actually, I did forget. For Nana, what am I getting from these Shy that I'm just like haven't seen from this before? Because it's like not only is it it's like one thing to have it mostly be similar and then have like a little bit of like a tweak or like, oh, this character said something else, like slightly unique. But really, like Shy doesn't do anything unique at all. It doesn't even tweak that little like 10 to 20%. It needs to become a more unique series. And that's where I'm the most disappointed with it. It has all the same structures of the modern Superman, or sorry, superhero variant. It has all the same worries. It has all the same structures that you usually would with this sort of like, oh, like magical girl into. It has like a slice of life. Again, something similar to what Dark would mention about like a railgun, or any other series where it mixes in the girls battling into one or two slice of life episodes. It has exactly the same thematics. It has exactly the same sort of resolution. What am I watching here? What am I watching where like shouldn't just be like I need a reason to not turn off Shy right now and just watch Symphogear or some other series, right? And it's a
Is
little
it
bit unfortunate.
is
Yeah,
it because you don't like Shy herself as the character?
I think Shy is just
She's not as strong as a actual
yeah
magical
she
girl
just doesn't
transformation.
have the fists. She doesn't have
I
the
mean,
flaming courage.
like her
Yeah,
personality isn't all that good.
she
She doesn't
I
have enough burning passion.
yeah she needs to be a passion type idol, or she needs to be like Tai and Digimon. But I don't think I, even like her passion, like when she's like, I'm going to stand up, and it's like I can see your heart. You truly have a kind heart. All that stuff. It's very like
Not
um
it's not
that sort of
impactful enough.
it's very generic. It's it's the same sort of like, oh, I can see the kindness inside of you. It's like you're not that uh, you're not truly the villain you think you are. Stuff like that. It's that sort of stuff, right? And just I don't know, like
Is it because she like as the protagonist, she can't carry the series, right? Is that what you're saying here?
I think she's too generic, and the rest of the series is also too generic, and you can't have both be generic. Like you
There,
need to
like
have a generic structure, and then the protagonist says something weird or does something else, um, that again makes it different from a Modica or a Symphogear or a Marvel or whatever.
there's a reason why the main like in these superhero shows the main characters like color is usually red and not
Yeah,
white.
yeah. And again, it's also one thing for it to be some, you know, large brand monster of the week, uh, whatever, like Power Ranger kind of shit going on, right? But this is a 12 episode series. We are 9 episodes in. We are barely covering, the second character and her introspection, and we are not running on time.
Wait, 9 episodes
And
in, has she had a power up yet?
yeah, she's had a power up, but it's just she had it during the training mode arc, but it's just she can punch people with fire
No, I
better.
mean like a second form. No second form.
No, she does not have a second form.
That's a big negative, bro.
It's also again,
We
it's
need
also
actual.
12 episodes, and we're 9 episodes in, and it's just like we're not. I mean, even second form aside, she has a. It's kind of again like we're only covering the second character, and we're not really like the villain is kind of there, but it's like we don't. We haven't really learned more about the villain that is of value, other than yeah, the villain is like wants to do bad things and um, he seems like a fucking a nut job. Like there's there's not much more relevant lore that has been unearthed about the villain. And
Isn't.
uh, yeah,
No, no, no.
yeah. And it's just at this point, I just it's a really big disappointment for me because I feel like this series with just a couple of extra lines, with just a little bit of like, oh, Shy thinks this way and chose to do this thing very specifically, would maybe really change the series for the better. and really set it off on that little bit of a tangential curve that will make it different again from all these other series. But it didn't choose to do that. It chose to do what I want to say the author probably thought was the safe route. And by doing that, it kind of doomed itself to mediocrity at best. Um, and I just think it's just very disappointing. I don't know. It was it's kind of hard to get through because I kind of keep wanting to see more to because I keep expecting more from it because I feel like it should be okay, but it keeps kind of disappointing with the lack of what it's showing. So it was, yeah, I don't really have too much to say about that. I don't hate the series. Um, and I know that there are a decent number of shy fans out there and a decent number of fans out there that kind of lap up all this stuff. But I just don't find the value of watching this series over literally any other series that have been released in the past decade. So it's very
Uh,
unfortunate.
s-
Yeah.
Sounds like you just want to watch Ranger Reject later, coming out later on. Or I'm sorry, Go Go Loser Ranger. I'm never gonna call it that.
Yeah. Jesus. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed because I really did want to watch something where it was like, I mean, the thing is, it's like if it was going to be full of like the same stuff and it was just going to be fully cheesy, I think it could have done maybe just a better job and just gone full like for instance, on the other side of the spectrum, right? We have something like Strike Witches or something like a Vivid Red Operation, where they don't give a rat's ass, right? They're all in on just showing them flying around in the air, doing poses, doing the transformation scenes. They don't give any coots about any of the lore or why the girls are there or why why they're wearing bloomers while they're flying around, right? Um, and that's fine in that sort of area, but Shy isn't doing that either, and so it's a little bit unfortunate, I think. It tried to hit a very safe spot, a very like if I just do this and talk about how heroes should be good people and just add like a transformation sequence, it should be okay, right? But it just, for me, I just again don't see the value of watching this series. So
But
very
Claire,
unfortunate.
can she beat Deku?
Yeah, she probably could if she had enough heart. But I think my Mal rating for this would be this is a very hard call. It would probably be a 4.5 or a 5. Again, like
5? Damn.
I think on face it's hard to be like this thing is bad or whatever. In a sense where it's just like it just has flaws. But the flaw it has that I have that, that caused me to deduct 5 points from it is the fact that I can't see a reason to suggest the series. I for me again, yeah, it has to do something good. It has to do blah blah blah, but ultimately it has to bring something new to the table. A two has to bring something to the table that a season one doesn't have. An OVA has to show off its flares or do some side story that the main story didn't cover. A movie has to show higher quality or show some part of the lore that the um the main story or the main anime didn't cover. Else it's just a shitty truncation. Just like how the Klana movie ended up a little bit, right? Um, and I'm perfectly fine
I
with calling
never
out
want to
series like
hear about that movie ever
yeah.
again.
And I just think this is a very unfortunate sequence. And I'm sure it wasn't really the director's fault. I'm sure it was mostly the original material that kind of ended up being this mediocre. But it is a very unfortunate sequence of events either way. So I would unfortunately not be able to recommend this series, although I really, really, really did want to. So that's sort of my thoughts on it. Again, Shy, done by 8-Bit Studios. Ando Masaomi bringing in his bringing his script story writer from Lerche along with some other veterans. Did a pretty good job on the audio visuals. I like the OST, BGM a decent amount. It was pretty standard, like orchestral kind of symphonic stuff, like heroic. Have the brass blowing in the back, stuff like that. But other than that, pretty unremarkable, I would say. So yeah. Again, that was my review on Shy. And let's go on to the news here. Let's see this. Yeah, a couple pieces of news, or a decent number of news. And I know there's like a lot of kind of rankings and number stuff coming up, especially since it's reaching the end of the year. But first, oh God. Studio Trigger staff members confirmed that a panel for the studio at Anime NYC on Friday that both Sushio and Yoneyama Mai are returning to work on the new Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt anime project. Wakabayashi Hiromi, Imaishi Hiroyuki, and Koyama Shigeto attended this panel, blah, blah. Yeah. The panel on Friday solicited ideas from the audience for a new character who will appear in the anime.
Oh,
The panel also
that's a
showed
great sign. That sounds
the,
that instills
the
a lot
panel
of
also showed
confidence.
several. Yeah, the panel also showed several production sketches and visuals, as well as character images of characters who may or may not appear in the final work. So, what is going on? Okay,
They should make a
so
male character with like a slightly asymmetrical, spiky blue haircut. I think they should. Maybe
Bro,
he gets like
if
cool
fucking
glasses.
if Trigger went on stage and it was like, yeah, Sushio's not coming back. It's like, what the fuck? Why would you make this show? Like, what?
yeah, just
Fucking dumbass.
But will it be better than Gurren Lagann season 2?
Definitely not.
Gurren Lagann season 2 is gonna be fucking awesome, dude.
I mean,
Yeah.
Gurren Lagann season 2 was basically wrapped up nicely, so
What are you talking about? Good.
but
yeah.
where did we go from there?
I don't think that's the
I mean,
exact continue.
there's the other spiral planets, but like, okay, sure.
Are you considering like the second set of like 12 episodes like a season 2?
No, I'm talking about the actual season 2. If they're gonna make one,
He's trying to predict how a season 2
if
of
they're
Gurren
gonna
Lagann will
make
go.
okay. Yeah, well.
you
Yeah.
gotta have the twins, right? They're not twins. The two little dudes.
Yeah, the two
It
kids.
might be them.
It could just be like an entire
Gurren
generation.
Lagann season 2 is gonna start off with Simon fucking dying alone on a beach. Like
Yeah, just
evaporating.
like looking out the window, like how he did. Yeah, before it's just like, yeah, he's gonna die there. But anyways, next on the next piece of news.
I
The
mean,
2024.
yeah,
Yes?
never mind.
The 2024 edition of Takarajimasha's Kono light novel ga sugoi, or This Light Novel is Amazing guidebook reported its list of top light novels on Saturday. So this is a very famous like list these days. It's like it's like the mainstream like light novel ranking for the mainstreamers, right? It's
Oh,
like for people who don't know what light novels are, but they kind of want to try reading a light novel. Is like this is what they look at.
so it's better than Shosetsu?
No, well, it's just talking about rankings, right? It's not even talking about. It's like a guidebook. It's not an actual like place. But yeah, author Saiki-san and illustrator Hanekoto's The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Raw topped 5 total categories in this year's rankings. Bunkobon illustrator, female character, male character, and web server ranking. Jesus fucking Christ, man. It is the first time any work has topped 5 categories in 1 year. Really? This series? God,
Must be good.
Japan is so fucked, man.
Pretty good, dude. It's award winning.
Yeah. So Bunkobon
True.
rankings. Yeah. Bookabon rankings. Angel Next Door spoils me rotten.
That's pretty good.
Number 2, playing death games to put food on the table. Oh, this sounds like such garbage.
Sounds good.
This
Sick,
sounds
dude.
Sounds
so
awesome,
bad.
dude. That
Holy
sounds so
shit.
Sounds great.
fucking cool, dude.
I'm gonna next year
There
this
has
thing is
never
gonna
been
get
a
an
series
anime
before where
adaptation.
someone played a death game for money. Okay,
Yeah.
they're breaking
This
fucking new
next
ground.
year, this thing is gonna get an anime adaptation, and I'm gonna make Nier cover
Pretty
it.
sick.
No, you're not.
Oh, near you want
No, no, you're not.
near. Look,
No,
I see
no,
maids.
no, you're
Look,
not.
yeah, I see maids.
But yeah, next, wait. Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian.
That's
Bathtub de 暮らす。透明な夜にかける君と目に見えない声をした。There's Stellar Step. 僕は読み僕は読みを間違える。恋人以上のことを彼女じゃない君と。週に一度クラスメイトを買う話。And last place, the detective is already dead. And then there's other stuff, Tale of the Secret Saint. 悪役令状はできないルートに入りました。The villainous guide to not falling in love. 無宿転生。Seventh time loop. The villainous enjoys carefree life. Slam Tensei. Eminence in Shadow. アラサが VTuber になった話。Let this grieving soul retire. A bunch of other stuff as well. So,
you know what's upsetting? I know most of these titles.
yeah. It's,
What about VTuber No Ending? Hell yeah! Isn't that the one voiced by what's her name?
Ayane Sakura?
Was that the one?
No, that's VTuber Legend.
Oh, this one says Uchida Maya. Okay.
Maybe, yeah, that's the Uchida Maya. That's definitely different. But yeah, those are the series. If you want to check them out, please do so.
They're all pretty good.
Yeah. The other sort of a worst piece of news is the New York Public Library announced its best books list for adults, teens, and kids for 2023 on Tuesday. 4 manga titles made the list
every
for
edition
teens.
of Tokyo Ghoul for adults.
Yeah, exactly. Every volume ever. 4
Every
manga
adult should
titles
read
made.
this.
Yeah, exactly. God, fucking, I can't believe
America's
people
new
still...
rite of passage.
Yeah. 4 manga titles made the list for teens, including Akane Banashi by Suenagi Yuki and Moe Takamasa, Love's Insight by Uoyama, The Moon on a Rainy Night by Kuzushiro, and The Summer Hikaru Died by Mokumokuren.
Near, you'd like the first. You'd like Akane Banashi. You love Rakugo.
Actually, all these series seem okay. Like, they at least seem much better than the Konorai to Nabaga Sugoi list, to be honest. So,
I don't know,
if you
man.
do one...
I don't think. I don't
What's more
like
adult than
Rakugo.
putting fucking food on the table by playing death
With the
game,
death game?
okay?
Yeah.
True.
Oh my fucking god. I can't believe that's an actual series.
Where's Dead Tube? Why isn't that on the New York list?
Yeah. Anyways, some other company news here. First off, Shogakukan announced on Tuesday that the company has acquired all outstanding shares of Tokyo Otaku Mode and made the company a wholly owned subsidiary. Olga Nobuhiro, representative director and president of Shogakukan, will now serve as chairperson of the board of directors of Tokyo Otaku Mode. So again, this is another sort of continuing trend on a lot of these merchandise, publishing, localization groups kind of either being made in-house by these powerful publishers in the anime industry. Shogakukan, Shueisha, Kodansha, did I mention? Yeah, it's 4, right? It's like Kodansha, Shueisha, Shogakukan, and one other. I forget the name right now. But yeah, so they're all kind of sucking it, creating in-house, doing mergers, or sorry, not mergers, acquiring smaller companies, sucking up smaller companies. And obviously, these guys are also working with larger umbrella companies such as Cyber Agent who have media companies to kind of again try to create their own in-house anime and cut make a lot of the smaller independent companies weaker. So I I just again I don't think this is honestly a good sign, but um it is a very inevitable state of things these days just because publishers have so much these sort of powerful publishers have so much power these days as well. The other company news is Japanese entertainment company Genda, also short for Global Entertainment Network for Dreams and Aspirations, announced on Monday that it has decided to acquire a 78.05 controlling stake of Japanese film distributor and producer Gaga Corporation. So, Gaga Corporation was founded in 1986 and primarily distributes smaller and indie titles in Japan, including Western films and anime films. They did Attention Forever, the movies, stuff like Fairy Tale, Dragon Cry, Konohana Kitan. Oh, wow. Okay, Konohana Kitan, Flip Flappers, Break of Dawn. Like they're doing distribution works. So that's being acquired by the media company as well. And last news here. This is about a week or so back. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much like just a week and a half ago. Employees of Canadian comics and manga publisher Drawn and Quarterly announced on November 14th that they have formed a union under the Fédération du Commerce. So the FCCSN with the Administrative Labor Tribunal of Quebec certifying the union. So obviously, this has been inspired by the recent union events going on both, I guess, around the world, really, and hopefully, some of these can lead into uh, better conditions for artists and worker publishing workers everywhere. So,
What's
Good
your take on
based.
this, Near? I heard Quebec.
Quebecers are cringe, but unions are kind of based, so balances
Yeah.
out, I guess.
Anyways, that was the last piece of news. And we are finally at our shoutouts and callouts. So this is one shout out and one call out per person. And shout out is one thing that you want to again give 5 out of 5 stars to praise, and can be any one person, place, or thing. And call outs are the exact opposite, something that you want to insult, 0 out of 5, rant about. And again, it can be any one person, place, or thing. And now we start with Near. Shout out, call out, please.
Um, shoutouts to the RoboCop game. That game's fun. That game's cool. It's fun shooting people.
Nice.
Callouts, I don't know. I guess callouts to the fact that the Street Fighter 6 costumes cost $100 to buy all of them.
Yeah, like $99 fucking dollars.
That's kind of crazy. I think that's a bit much.
Okay, bro.
And there's not even like an all-in-one pack, is there?
No, and it's again the part of the complaint was also like it takes what is it? It's like $6 per costume or whatever, but you can only buy the packs in like uh bundles of $5 or whatever, and it's just like what the
Yeah,
the
fuck?
that's
fun fake
fucking
currency.
nasty.
Always good.
Yeah, fuck them.
Anyways, thank you, Near. Dark. Shout out call, please.
I don't even know. It. Oh yeah, I
Okay.
guess shout out to I don't know, shout out to new Jeff Rosenstock album. That album rocks. Album's really good. Hell Mode. Very, very fun album. Yeah, and I don't know. I guess my call out gamers, you know?
Yeah,
They're,
fucking
they're
gamers.
they're really fucking smart. So, you know, I got yeah, I don't know. I got into a discussion with some people about like I don't know, what was it? Like monetization or something? Like people were mad about was it? Oh yeah, so that's what
Okay.
it was. Guild Wars 2 added a new thing to the shop that lets you buy these things called hero points, which are
Mm-hmm.
basically like your skill points, so you can like unlock part of your trait trees and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like way overpriced because like the way you get them currently is you just join a group with like someone who paid like a lot of gold to lead groups better to like put on a tag that people can just join off of. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
usually like people in guilds and stuff, and you have to do a gold sync, so it's not something that you're gonna like just buy and then fuck around with. And
Mm-hmm.
those are run regularly, and you can like get like hundreds of hero points in like an hour or two. And so these things right now cost, let me see, I want to say, what does it look like? It's like $10 or $12 essentially for, because you know, it's 1,000 gems for 25 hero points, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and let me see, and $10 is 800 gems, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, oh no, it's complete a random hero challenge. So yeah, I mean you could get like 10 hero points per, so it's like so essentially like 250 hero points for 1,000 gems, right? Which is not like
Mm-hmm.
it's not like terrible really, but it's also not good. Um, it also depends too on whether or not that includes the base game because the base game has hero points that um and these are random. It'll do like random hero challenges around the world for you. Um, but the base game has hero points that I'm pretty sure only give you 1 point per because like the base game worked differently than the expansion classes. Because they had to make it faster because the base game has like more zones, so they had to do like 10 per in the either way. These are a fucking scam, and all they do is like essentially harm those like hero point trains that people run.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem that I had to describe to multiple people, it was like, I don't understand how you don't realize this, is that it's like, you know, people are like, oh, well, you could just like not buy them. And if people like buy this and don't realize that it's like not worth the money, then that's like on them, not ArenaNet. And it's like, ArenaNet fucking made this. Like, what are you talking about? Like, of course it's on ArenaNet. They fucking made this thing for purchase that isn't worth it. And then,
Yeah.
it's also just the fact that, you know, people were like, oh, this isn't going to kill like hero point trains. And I'm like, well, like the problem isn't that like whether it will or won't, like literally, you know, like sure, like I don't think many people are going to buy this because it's a fucking scam. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the point is that the more people that do buy it, the less people that run hero point trains, which means there's less people to run hero point trains, which then incentivizes people, like more people, to buy the scam. Because, like, let's say, you know, they made this to be purchased. So, in their perfect world, everyone buys this. They make a ton of money off of it,
Mm-hmm.
which then means no one does hero point trains anymore. Which means if you're a new player coming into the game that needs hero points, and these are ones that require groups, that means that you are now incentivized to buy these fucking scams.
Yeah.
Because if no one's running them, then you can't do it because some of them do require groups. So, like, that's why I'm like, well, this sucks. Like, this is shitty because it's just literally like, it's harming their game more than like a character boost harms their game. Because in Guild Wars, like, you still do old content for like newer resources that they put in or like old resources for like old items that you really want to get that are end game items still, because there's like no real, there's been like no real extension of the end game essentially
Mhm.
since the base game. But so these things in particular like really harm a part of the game, because if everyone bought if everyone bought boosts, there are still plenty of reasons to go to the old areas.
Mhm.
But if everyone bought these hero point scrolls, there's zero reason to do hero points anymore. And then that means that anyone new coming into the game would then, people would just be like, well, just buy the hero point scrolls because you're not going to get a group to do some of these.
Yeah.
So it's just really shitty. And it's really fucking stupid that there are people out there that are like, no, man, this is on like you, the consumer, which I've seen a lot. I guess this extends as well beyond. I've seen people call out microtransactions recently, like the problem with them being like, oh, this is a problem with consumerism. And like, that's stupid. Like, blaming consumers for
Yeah. Yeah.
fucking
The original
monetization
sin is
practices is
with the
so dumb.
exactly.
Like, it's so fucking stupid. Like, if they start, if like the government or like, or not even the government, if like corporations like fucking purchase like, I don't know, like oxygen or something, and you were like, yo, it's so stupid that people actually like pay for this shit. Like I don't know, like
Mm.
it's just so dumb to be like, yeah, man, it's really still, or like even streaming services. Like if you blame streaming services on on consumers, like streaming services turning into cable television again, essentially at this point with like the
Mhm.
packages and shit. It's like, no, that's not like the consumer's fucking fault, dude. Like what the fuck? Like people will buy shit. Like so it's not really up to take that on.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I've just been seeing a lot of that talk and it's really fucking dumb. It'd be a lot easier if people just realize that, if you have a problem with, that's like rooted in economics, it's probably the economic system that has issues, not the people that are literally forced to live within it that are the problem.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah. Anyways, a little bit unfortunate, but thank you, Dart, for your shout out call out. Toast. What about you?
Me, I'm going to shout out 2 new upcoming voice actors coming up for for Isekai no You. I think it's about an onsen. Yeah. I'm going to shout out Kuramachi Kyoko and Koito Ria.
Good.
Yeah. If you know who they
All
are,
right.
yeah. Yeah. They're VTubers. Yeah. Good for them. They're I believe they're part of Voice Ore. So and that's a company dedicated to putting VTubers up as voice actors, so good for them. Whatever happened to Gibara? Wasn't she supposed to be a voice act? Didn't she retire to become a voice actor? Whatever happened to her?
I have no idea.
Oh well.
All these like VTuber people like appear, disappear, stuff like that very frequently. So,
How can you
uh,
disappear if you become a voice actor, though? You hear that, Spire? The year of the
Because no one
voice.
sees you, they only hear you.
More VTubers are becoming voice actors. Spire, how do you think of that?
I think that was a natural progression.
So
But
he's so he's
I
saying
don't
no.
know whether the trend will last. But I
I don't know,
am
man.
sure that was.
So he's saying Fraulein prologue, pretty good. I saw Azuki in there, and Asana Ruri. Asana
But the
Ruri
issue is, it's like
is
they're
also.
not being hired because they're good voice actors. They're being
How
hired because they're popular.
how dare you say that about Asana Ruri and Mare and Azuki, King to Alice? How dare you? I like their good voice acting. If
But yeah,
don't you know voice acting is if you're a good voice actor, you also have to be a good singer now. It's like the standard nowadays.
I
Name
mean
one voice actor who isn't a good singer.
that's not. I mean, there are plenty of people who don't release albums or sing. Right?
Guy,
It's
this
like
guy, this guy hates Mizuki Nana. This guy hates
It's true. That's what he said.
this
yeah.
guy. Yeah, that's a singer slash voice actor. How dare you? Anyway,
Yes,
good for them.
that proves that every voice actress must be a singer. That's true.
Despite the drama that some of them have, as if they're working towards their dream, good for them. I guess I'm not gonna. I respect the grind. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. I'll just say that there's a reason why the one compliment that all voice actors or actresses like to hear isn't, "Oh, you have a good voice." It's, "Oh, you did a really good job of acting out that role," because it takes more than having a good or cute voice to become voice actors. Anyways, call out, I think.
Hello.
Toast. Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I guess the illness that took away my voice for a week. That
Yeah,
sucked.
yeah, definitely.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool for like the first 2 days, and after that, I was like, no, this sucks. This sucks.
You're like, oh, I get to rest at home, and then you're like, wait a minute, this is an
No,
actual illness. Yeah,
I have to actually attempt to talk several times. This actually.
yeah. Yeah. Again, I'm glad that you recovered properly, and safely. So that's that.
Thanks.
For me, my shout out call out, I guess, shout out again to all the fucking VTubers that I watch. So much VTubers. That and my call out is to people who, well, I was, talking to people in another Discord, and so many, yeah, so big rigs, like so much. There's so many freaking VTubers. I used the wrong quantifier. Matchers on Street Fighter 6 that play. Close. But there are other people, in Discords that are talking to about Street Fighter 6 and other games, and as is with competitive games, people have this tendency to be like, can't do it. When will I ever be able to get past the basics? I feel like everybody is just fucking owning me all the time. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do the other thing. How do I do? And it's just like, bro, like I can help you with this. I can help you with, the game or like talk with you about stuff, but I am not your therapist. Okay, like I am not your fucking emotional counselor. I can't sit here.
Why
Hey,
not?
bro, but
I'm
when
not.
do I win?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm not your fucking boyfriend. I cannot sit here for 3 hours and listen to you complain about your character, your life, the decisions that got you to buy Street Fighter 6, how, your reactions aren't good enough, or your thoughts aren't good enough, or whatever it is. I can't help you with that. I can't sit here. Okay. Figures, I always thought you were talking about Jason. But yeah, it just it kind of made me really depressed after all, because people uh, people just didn't really care about improving. People just want some person to just like sit there next to them and not be like, oh yeah, it's just your genetics and your character and all this other crap that makes you, not be able to win games. It's like, bro, I'm not that person. Sorry. So that made
I'm
me
just
a
gonna
little bit
hire a
moody
guy
at
to
times.
sit next to me and just be like, "Yeah, you should have won that." Like after every
Yeah,
game.
yeah, exactly. That's actually
Nah, yeah,
what
you
like a
totally should
lot
have
of
won
people would pay for.
that.
Yeah, they don't need a coach by mentoring on whatever like MOBAs or whatever games. They just need someone like they need like what is it called, like the like not the therapy animal, but it's what is that fucking animal where
An
it's like
emotional support.
Yeah, you need an emotional support animal, but it's literally just like a dude like on a leash. It's like next to you, like
that should have been your game. Should have been your win.
yeah, exactly,
Absolutely.
bro. I can't believe you lost that.
Can't believe
This
you
game,
were
shit,
robbed.
man. Yeah, exactly. We just have that. It was really depressing hearing some people being like, "Will I ever, will I ever get better at this game? This game seems so fucking impossible all the time." It's like, bro, I can't listen to this for 3 hours. It's not a thing. So, call outs to those people. But yeah,
Yeah, and then you told
that
them to buy
was,
a
I think.
hitbox.
Yeah, I told them to cheat and buy a
You're
hitbox.
supposed to cheat.
Yeah, exactly. You got to use all the advantages, bro. But yeah, that was my shout out call out. And with that, we are finally done with our 4th episode in the review. Obviously, again, 5th episode coming up next week because again, we had to delay this one a little bit. So on the 9th, December 9th, we will have another podcast episode, and that will be the last review series for our fall 2023 season. We're going to have a lot of hit series coming up, or like some of the much bigger names of the season coming up. So be on the lookout for that. Going into our preview after that, as well as our end of the year awards. So again, jam-packed season or jam-packed month ahead. Please watch out for those as well. And if you do like what we do, we stream our podcast live every other Saturday, starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation media, anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. So we have VODs, highlights, and other stuff on here, Twitch recorded as well as on YouTube. So whichever format you desire. We have social media updates on when we stream, when we're publishing our VODs, stuff like that on Facebook, 4PlayerAnimecast, as well as on Twitter at 4PPAnimecast, all with the numeral 4. Check us out here, check us out there, and as always, we'll see you next time.